Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Wuhun, awakening double martial spirit, but the system ran away. Chapter 41. After dinner, the four of them parted at the door of the Adventurers Association. Lin Yu drove Lin Xiaotao back. Lin Xiaotao still had her arms around Lin Yu's waist and leaned on his back. Lin Yu, why didn't they ask about the storage bag? They are not fools. This storage bag has nothing to do with them. That's right. If you hadn't been here today, maybe it would have been a different outcome. Lin Yu parked the car downstairs at Lin Xiaotao's house and was not in a hurry to go back. The two of them sat on the flower bed in the small garden. Taozi, are you unable to do anything today? Lin Xiaotao knew what Lin Yu was asking, and then thought about it and said, I don't know either. I just can't figure it out. They are obviously not high level, why do they bully us? This is the evil of human nature. They just see that we are wearing the uniforms of one middle school and know that we have just awakened. Under normal circumstances, they can take advantage of us at will. They may indeed have seniors and juniors, but when they want to rob us, this matter cannot be solved. Do you think they will only take away our harvest today? Don't they want our storage bags? Didn't they think that we would report them when we return to the city? Quote. Lin Xiaotao thought about it and said, okay. You were right, I was just wondering, why can't people live in harmony with each other in the wild? To live in harmony, you need to speak with strength. The law of the jungle is practiced outside the city. When you become stronger, you will find that there are no bad people around you. Everyone is particularly kind to you. Auntie, am I right? Quote. Lin Yu's last words were said to a beautiful mature woman beside him. The woman looked very similar to Lin Xiaotao. When he and Lin Xiaotao were here, she walked over inadvertently. The woman smiled and said, hee, this little brother is right. Taozi, why don't you take your classmate home to sit with you when he comes? Lin Xiaotao turned around and saw her mother with a playful smile and was speechless for a while. Just when she was about to speak, her mother spoke again. You are Xiaolin, right? Let's sit down at home. Daozi often mentions you at home. Lin Yu glanced at Lin Xiaotao's mother. To be honest, she was in line with his aesthetics. He said with a smile, then disturb auntie. Lin Xiaotao's mother smiled and said, if you want to go there, I'll invite you home. Lin Yu followed Lin Xiaotao's mother and Lin Xiaotao to her home. Her family lived on the second floor. The environment was similar to his own. It was also a two-bedroom house. The house was very clean. Lin Xiaotao went back to her room to change clothes. Mom made Lin Yu a cup of tea. Lin Yu stood up and took the teacup with both hands. Thank you, auntie. What's your last name, auntie? Hee. Xiaolin is so polite. My surname is Yi, from Yi, and my name is Yi Susan. Lin Yu found that Taozi's mother loved to laugh very much, and women who love to laugh are very beautiful. Hello Aunt Yi. It's our first time meeting, and I don't have anything to give to Aunt Yi. I only have some fruits and vegetables here. I hope Aunt Yi doesn't dislike it. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he took out several boxes of fruits and vegetables. Yi Susan was happy again and put away the fruits and vegetables, and then said, Xiaolin, you are too polite, I like these things very much. At this time, Lin Xiaotao changed into a set of home clothes, pulled Lin Yu into her room, then closed the door, shutting Yi Susan out directly. Taozi, isn't it rude for us to do this? There's nothing wrong with it. I'll give you today's blood-tusked boar. After Lin Xiaotao finished speaking, he released all 22 wild boars. Lin Yu was not polite and kept them all. Then Lin Xiaotao took out another soul bone and asked casually, you asked me to absorb that blood-toothed wild boar. Spirit ring, do you know that the wild boar has a spirit bone? Lin Yu took the blood-toothed wild boar's head soul bone and took a look at it with his golden eyes. The blood-toothed wild boar head soul bone, age, 970 years, soul skill, roar. Well, when I knocked its head, I heard the sound of metal clashing, so I pushed you away to absorb the soul ring. It's just that the soul ring doesn't matter to them. If it were replaced by a soul bone, they would inevitably feel jealous, and they would be jealous. I'll keep this soul bone for now, and I'll prepare better ones for you later. Lin Xiaotao nodded. Yes. I listen to you. Lin Xiaotao believed in Lin Yu unconditionally. The key point was that Lin Yu's strength was beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Lin Yu rummaged around in his storage bag and took out some food again, including fruits and cooked food. You put these away first. I will let people deal with these blood-toothed wild boars later, and I will give them to you later. Get some. Lin Xiaotao nodded. It doesn't matter. I haven't finished the food you gave me last time. Lin Yu then took out a pot of luminous grass from the life storage bag and placed it on Lin Xiaotao's desk. This pot of luminous grass can be used as a nightlight, and it can also repel mosquitoes and flies. Is this the one you dug in the lemur cave last time? Did you feed it? Lin Yu nodded. Yes. Okay, it's getting late today, I should go back. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he opened the door of Lin Xiaotao's room, and a person fell directly into his arms, with nephrite in his arms. This was a little embarrassing. Lin Xiaotao was really angry now. Mom, what are you doing? Yi Susan immediately stood up and left Lin Yu's arms. Lin Yu spoke at this time. Taozi, I accidentally kicked Aunt Yi's foot just now. Aunt Yi is embarrassed. Yi Susan smiled and said, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. This pot of luminous grass is an apology to Aunt Yi. I'm leaving first, Aunt Yi, see you Taozi. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he put down a pot of luminous grass and then went downstairs in a hurry. When Yi Susan saw her daughter's eyes about to spit out fire, she immediately ran back to her room and closed the door with the luminous grass in her arms. Yi Susan, how shameless are you to come to your own daughter's door to listen to her? Lin Xiaotao was so angry that she even called her mother by her name. Yi Susan got into her bed and wrapped her head in the quilt so that she couldn't hear anything. When Lin Yu returned home, Chen Jing and Chen Wenwen had finished washing, and Chen Jing was meditating on her bed. After all, he had told them before that he would not be back for dinner at night. Hearing Lin Yu's return, Chen Jing stopped meditating. Xiao Yu, I put your pajamas on the bathroom stool. Oh, okay, thank you, Auntie. Lin Yu went to take a shower and came out. Chen Jing was still in his room. After all, he had a day off tomorrow. They usually went to bed later than usual on Friday and Saturday nights. Xiao Yu, how was your harvest today? I didn't find what I wanted, but I did harvest some blood-tusked wild boars. Let's deal with them tomorrow. Okay, then you should go to bed early. Chen Jing left and closed the door of his room. Lin Yu took out the storage bag and took a look. There were more than 20 blood-toothed wild boars and millions of federal coins in it. The 5 people today, you are so poor, you obviously have no strength, but you still bully people like yourself. Lin Yu transferred more than 40 wild boars into an empty storage bag, put away the federal coins, and then put the forest deer trunk bone, the sharp-clawed lynx right arm bone, and the blood-toothed wild boar skull he got today, all added up to 100,000 years. Forest deer king trunk bone, age, 100,000 years, soul skill, hymn of life, life barrier. Claw cat king's right arm bone, age, 100,000 years, soul skill, fatal claw attack, escape into the void. Skull of the bloodtusk wild boar king, age, 100,000 years, soul skills, king's roar, war trample. The effects of these soul bones are very good. My aunt and Tang Yanren do not need to absorb soul bones for the time being, and there is no need to exchange soul bones for soul rings for the time being, so they can keep them for now. Then he released the growth of all things on the ghost mushroom for a while, then fell on the bed and started to sleep. There was nothing to say all night. At 8:30 the next day, Lin Yu couldn't stand it any longer. He got up and went to the bathroom to start washing up. At this time, Chen Jing came over yawning, and Lin Yu came to the kitchen with a mouthwash cup. Auntie, let's stop cooking in the morning and just eat some steamed buns. That's okay too. After Lin Yu washed up, he ate 2 steamed buns, drank a glass of hot water, and changed into a set of black leather clothes. Xiao Yu, are you going out? Well, I'm going to go to the Adventurers Association for my next commission. Auntie, if you're okay, can we go over there and take a look? Chen Jing nodded, but I don't have suitable clothes. Lin Yu took out a black women's leather jacket from the space. Chen Jing took it and tried it on herself. It seemed quite suitable. Chen Jing smiled and said, who did you prepare these clothes for, Xiao Yu? Lin Yu smiled. Auntie, I bought this according to your figure. You will know if it fits you when you put it on. This kind of clothing may seem very thick, but in fact it is not particularly hot when worn on the body, otherwise adventurers would not be able to wear it on hot days. After Chen Jing put on this suit of clothes, she completely overwhelmed Lin Xiaotao in both figure and appearance. It's not that Lin Xiaotao is not beautiful, but there are certain differences in personal aesthetic concepts. Xiaoyu, is this clothes okay for me? One word, beautiful, and, let's go. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he carried the battery and went downstairs first. After he finished fixing the electric car, Chen Jing went downstairs carrying a bag of garbage. After throwing the garbage into the trash can, she sat behind Lin Yu. Half an hour later, the two came to the adventurers' hall. Chen Jing looked around and felt like she hadn't been here in years. Auntie, how long have you not been here? It must have been 14 or 5 years ago. The two of them then took a look at the order column. There were indeed people asking for medicinal herbs, but they were all asking for higher vintages. Lin Yu came to the association office and was about to issue a commission. He stated his request, but the clerk was not happy. Sir, are you kidding me? You should probably go to the flower market to have a look at the medicinal materials that have no expiry date. There might be some available there. Lin Yu felt that he was confused again. Chen Jing on the side quickly pulled him aside and said softly, Xiao Yu, I think what he said makes sense. How about we go to the flower market first? Lin Yu thought it was right, but he was not in a hurry. Since he came out today, he might as well go out to the city to have a look. Then he looked at Chen Jing aside. Well, let's go to the flower market later. Since we have come to the adventurer hall, and we want to go out of town for some fun. Chen Jing did not hesitate and said directly, that's fine. I haven't tried the new soul skill you prepared for me yet. After Lin Yu made sure that Chen Jing had brought the adventurer badge, he bought 2 teleportation tickets, and when they came to the east gate, they scanned the code and left the city. Lin Yu took out his motorcycle this time and drove Chen Jing to the beach. Half an hour later, the two of them arrived at the beach. The sea water seemed to have receded a little compared to the last time he came here. Lin Yu put away the motorcycle. Xiao Yu, how should we go? Let's go to the south. I've been to the north before. Auntie, try your flying ability. All 4 soul rings on Chen Jing's body lit up. Yellow, black, and red, and then 2 pairs of bee wings made of energy appeared behind her. The wings flapped rapidly, and she flew up. Lin Yu flashed below, and Chen Jing was flying at low altitude. Soon Chen Jing found a big crab. A golden needle that looked like a chopstick appeared in her hand. The golden needle was thrown out and hit the crab directly, killing the crab. Lin Yu appeared at the crab location, picked up the crab and set off. Soon after, the two found several crabs, which were all easily taken care of by Chen Jing. When they arrived at a reef, Lin Yu saw a large area of oysters. A shovel appeared in his hand and began to shovel the oysters. Chen Jing saw Lin Yu shoveling the oysters and she also fell down. Seeing that she was in a good mood, Lin Yu asked with a smile, how do you feel about Auntie's new soul skill? It's not bad, but it can't be used for a long time, and it consumes a lot of soul power. At this moment, a pink tentacle stretched out from under the reef and wrapped directly around Chen Jing's legs, trying to drag her down. This sudden change shocked Chen Jing. Xiao Yu. When Lin Yu saw this scene, he threw down his shovel and grabbed the tentacle and started to pull it up. Chen Jing also reacted, cut off the tentacle that was wrapped around her feet, and fired a golden needle in the direction where the tentacle came from. The two sides kept wrestling. At this time, countless ink sprayed out of the water. A huge shield appeared in Lin Yu's hand to block it. He had long been on guard against this big guy spraying ink. A few minutes later, this big guy was dragged up by Lin Yu. It was a huge octopus. Lin Yu estimated that it weighed about 700 or 800 kilograms. The big octopus had been riddled with holes by Chen Jing. Lin Yu ignored the big octopus, but looked at Chen Jing's feet. Chen Jing was sitting on the reef. Lin Yu picked up her feet and took a look. The place directly strangled by the octopus's tentacles had been broken. These oceans, the danger level of the giant beast is indeed higher than that in the forest. After Lin Yu's several treatments, Chen Jing stood up and shook her feet. It's completely healed. This big octopus is estimated to be more than 20,000 years old. Do we want a soul ring? A 20,000-year-old garbage soul ring is useless, take it back and eat it. Lin Yu put away the big octopus, and then continued shoveling oysters. Chen Jing couldn't help but wondered nearby. Xiao Yu, I picked this up, can I eat this? Lin Yu looked up and saw that Chen Jing had a coconut-sized conch in his hand. It was a conch, not a coconut conch. Auntie, do you think it's still alive? You can eat it if it's alive. Chen Jing just thought she had discovered the new world, so she picked up various snails on the beach, and then piled them together. By the time Lin Yu finished processing the oysters, Chen Jing had piled several tons of snails. The main reason is that these snails are too big. Cat's eye snails are as big as the mouth of a bull, and coconut snails are as big as a washbasin. Lin Yu put away these snails and shouted to Chen Jing, Aunt. It's noon, we should go back. Got it. Okay. Chen Jing flew over when she heard his shout. Then the two returned to the road where they came from, and Lin Yu took out his motorcycle and set off. Chen Jing leaned on Lin Yu's shoulder and said, Actually, I didn't dare to go too far just now. There should be a lot of that kind of shellfish in other places. These things are enough for us to eat for several years, let's talk about the rest later. After the two entered the city, they teleported to the Adventurers Association and rode back on the electric donkey. When they returned home, Chen Wenwen was still eating steamed buns. Seeing the two people coming back, Chen Wenwen immediately put down her buns. Mom, where did you and brother go? Lin Yu said with a smile. My aunt and I went to the beach, and I made some delicious food for you to try. Lin Yu went back to the room and took off his leather clothes, then went to the kitchen and took out some snails. Due to their large size, they were already dead after being put into the space. Naturally, they could not spit out the sand. He blanched them in the same way as snails to get the meat. I made a pot of spicy snail meat and the three of us sat down to eat. Xiao Yu, do all those snail meats do this? Yeah, it's too big, so we can only take the meat and process it. The snail meat tasted really good. The three of them finished most of the pot of snail meat at noon. After lunch, Lin Yu handed Chen Jing the storage bag containing the blood-toothed wild boar and seafood, and then he went out again. This time he took the bus to the flower market, but there was nothing he could do. The electric donkey was out of battery. The flower market was in a wealthy area. After all, poor people would not spend money to buy these things these days. Although it is called a flower market, there are not many that actually sell flowers and plants. After walking into a store, Lin Yu directly opened his golden eyes and scanned around but did not find any valuable flowers and plants. Then he looked at the flower shop owner. Boss, are all your flowers and plants here? What do you want to buy, guest? All my flowers and plants are here. I want to buy some herb seedlings and plant them when I go back. The boss waved his hand directly. Come on, I don't have that thing here, you can go next door and have a look. Lin Yu had no choice but to leave this store and go to the store next door. As a result, the store next door also returned with no success. He had to go to the third and fourth stores and the same situation happened. Just as he was about to leave, he heard someone calling him, Classmate Lin Yu, what are you doing? Lin Yu turned around and found out that it was a classmate of his. It was the big girl who scratched someone's arm in the first practical class and made him cry. She seemed to be named Lu Ning. Although Lu Ning is not as outstanding as Lin Moxu, nor as approachable as Lin Xiaotao, she is a very well-behaved girl, but she does not have a high sense of presence. She wears big glasses and braces, completely hiding her beauty. Lin Yu also smiled and said, It turns out to be classmate Lu Ning. Lu Ning was quite happy to see Lin Yu. After all, it was a happy thing to meet his classmates when he was not in class. Lu Ning smiled and asked, Lin Yu, why are you coming to the flower market? Lin Yu said helplessly, I want to buy some medicinal seedlings, but I couldn't find them after shopping around. Lu Ning was immediately happy when she heard Lin Yu say this, and then waved to him, Lin Yu, come with me. Lin Yu thought for a while and followed him. The two of them came to the door of a traditional Chinese medicine store and walked in. Lin Yu was a little confused. With such healing soul skills, how could a traditional Chinese medicine store survive? What else is a traditional Chinese medicine store? Hair therapy cannot cure it. Lin Yu and Lu Ning walked in and saw an old man with gray hair wearing a white coat taking someone's pulse. There was also a middle-aged man in the cubicle who was cupping people. What a good guy. Lin Yu, Lin Yu heard Lu Ning calling him, so he followed her to the yard behind the pharmacy. He saw greenery and lush flowers. With his golden eyes, he saw that they were all Chinese medicines, and several of them could be used to improve health. To the grass jelly level. For example, the fire attributed inula, the ice attributed snow lily, the wood attributed jade unicorn, the non-attributed golden ginseng, and the Monroe flower. Although the vintages are not very high, there are several plants of each type. There must be more than 30 plants. Lu Ning, I want inula, snow lily, jade unicorn, golden ginseng and Monroe flower. I want them all. Ah, Lin Yu, if you only want 1 or 2 plants, I can still decide to give them to you. But if you want them all, you definitely can't. My grandpa is very precious. Can you give me a price? How much is it? Just then the old man in the white coat walked in. Young people don't have money to do whatever they want. I won't sell any of my herbal medicines for any amount of money. Lu Ning turned around and took the old man's arm. Grandpa. Lin Yu is my classmate, isn't it just a few flowers? Just give them to her. Lin Yu saw the old man in front of him and said with a smile, Old sir, Lu Ning and I are classmates, so I'll call you Grandpa Lu. Grandpa Lu, I sincerely want this. The old man couldn't get rid of his granddaughter's entanglement, so he said, Young man, since you are my granddaughter's classmate, you can pick 2 plants. Lin Yu shook his head. Grandpa Lu, I don't like to owe others favors, because the debt of favor is the hardest to repay. I still like transactions, so that the money and goods are clear. Although you may not be short of money, it does not mean that you are not short of other things. Things, how can Grandpa Lu conclude that I don't have what you need? Hearing Lin Yu's words, the old man smiled, Ha ha ha. What we need is you. If you become my grandson-in-law, everything here will be yours. The old man's words made Lu Ning blush, and then he shook his grandfather's arm vigorously. Grandpa, what are you talking about? I hate it. Lin Yu knew that the old man was joking, so he smiled and said, Grandpa Lu, can you lend me a moment to speak? Okay, please come inside. Xiaoning will give your classmate a cup of tea. Lin Yu followed Grandpa Lu Ning to a living room in the courtyard, and Lu Ning poured them 2 cups of tea. Lin Yu took out 2 things, 2 wooden boxes, 1 large and 1 small. Then he smiled and said, Grandpa Lu, I know these herbal medicines of yours are extremely rare, but that doesn't mean I can't afford the price. 2 of them you can choose the same item to offset the cost of sitting on the more than 30 herbs in the yard. Lu Ning curiously opened the big box and saw a gleaming golden soul bone inside. Lu Ning looked at Lin Yu. Lin Yu, what is this? I remember you seem to be a martial spirit like a cat. My martial spirit is the ghost black cat who inherited my mother's martial spirit. What's wrong? Lin Yu said with a smile. This is the right arm bone of the 100,000-year-old claw Elvis. It should be very suitable for you. If you absorb this soul bone, it should allow you to directly reach the 2nd level. Lin Yu's generosity frightened Lu Ning and his grandfather. Soul bones that are hundreds of years old are extremely rare, and once he makes a move, they are 100,000 years old. Grandpa Lu Ning smiled. Xiao Lin, right. I think you can consider my Ning Ning. I think you two are quite a match. Facing Grandpa Lu Ning who was promoting his granddaughter, Lin Yu just smiled. Grandpa Lu is joking, do you choose this soul bone? Or look at this other box. Lu Ning picked up the 2nd box and opened it. Grandpa Lu glanced at it, took it from Lu Ning immediately, closed the lid again, and then after calming down, he continued to ask, Xiao Lin, how much is this ghost mushroom? Years. About 35,000 years. Mr. Lu nodded with satisfaction. Then we want this ghost mushroom. You can take away the flowers and plants in the yard. Lin Yu cupped his hands and said, Thank you so much, Grandpa Lu. Lin Yu put away the soul bone, then came to the yard, moved all the more than 30 flowers and plants into the life storage bag, and then waved to Lu Ning. Okay, Lu Ning. We'll see you at school tomorrow. Gone, gone. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he left the traditional Chinese medicine store. Lu Ning in the yard looked at her grandfather with some confusion. Grandpa, why do you want this mushroom instead of leaving a 100,000-year-old soul bone? Your grandfather, I'm not stupid. Although soul bones can improve your strength, they are limited. However, this ghost mushroom can easily reach the 9th level soul saint, and can even make you surpass the 9th level. It can change your cultivation qualifications. Your innate qualifications are not high, but it can make your cultivation qualifications surpass those with innate soul power. Lu Ning nodded in understanding. Lin Yu is born with full soul power. On the other side, Lin Yu went to the carpenter's shop where he made custom wooden boxes last time, and ordered 2 rows of cabinets, similar to bookcases, 30 centimeters wide, a little less than 3 meters high, 1 set of 3 meters in length, and 1 set of 2 meters and 70 meters in length. After doing all this, he returned home. Chen Jing was still dealing with the blood-toothed wild boar. Lin Yu helped with the pig intestines. He took more than 40 pairs of pig intestines to the sewer downstairs for processing, and then returned to the bathroom upstairs to start clean. Brother, I just don't understand. What's so delicious about this thing filled with pig shit? Is it worth washing it so many times? If it doesn't work, just throw it away. You're not such a frugal person. Wenwen, don't you understand this? The best part of the pig is the large intestine. Whether it is 9-turn large intestine or braised, it is delicious. Lin Yu blanched the large intestines until they were half cooked and put them away. He left a few pairs of large intestines and added pig heart and lungs, pig head meat and pork to make a large pot of sauce. This was what the 3 of them had for dinner. The taste is okay, as long as you don't think it was filled with pig shit before. Wenwen, don't talk about this while eating. After dinner, the 3 of them went for a walk. They didn't have to go out to get food in the past few months. The next day, after sending Chen Wenwen to school, she waited for Lin Xiaotao on the roadside and handed her a storage bag, which contained 10 prepared white-striped pigs and some oysters. What are those shell-like things, Lin Yu? For oysters, when you get home, soak them in water, wash them clean, and just boil them dry. When you eat them, just dip them in soy sauce and vinegar, or you can just peel them off and take out the meat. You can process them in any way you like. Oh, the 2 arrived at the school classroom. As soon as Lin Yu sat down, Lu Ning came over. Without the constraints of braces and glasses, his appearance was undoubtedly the best in the school. I always thought it was glasses and braces that restricted your appearance. It seems I am superficial. Lu Ning smiled and said, hee. My grandfather's advice yesterday afternoon has been effective. Lin Yu shook his head. Let's talk about this later. Let me see your martial spirit. Lu Ning came to him and stretched out her right hand. A black cat appeared in the palm of her right hand, but the black cat had 2 tails. Is this the 2-tailed Nekomata? Lu Ning showed a cute look. Hee, yes, thank you for what happened yesterday. Well, have you reached the 2nd level? The soul power should be here, but there is still 1 soul ring left. Don't worry yet, just wait. Lin Yu said with a smile. Okay. Congratulations, you can now go to the Holy See Academy in Wuhun City. Lu Ning wanted to say something else, but when he saw Tang Yanren walking in, he immediately returned to his seat. Tang Yanren glanced at Lu Ning, and then started class. After class, Lin Yu followed Tang Yanren back to her office. Tang Yanren asked curiously, what's going on with Lu Ning? Here's the thing. Lin Yu completely told what happened yesterday afternoon. Tang Yanren said with a smile, you are so generous. You dare to take out 100,000-year-old soul bone. They probably investigated the 18th generation of your ancestors. Once again. Lin Yu shook his head. It's nothing. Lu Ning's grandfather is not a fool. I can take out the soul bones and fairy grass. Naturally, I am an existence that he can't afford to offend. As long as the news leaks out, it will be his business. He will not. You're kidding with the lives of your whole family. If you have strength, you are willful. But Lu Ning's grandfather has really good vision. He gave up his 100,000-year-old soul bone and chose fairy grass to improve Lu Ning's physique. Lu Ning's future has already surpassed that of Lin Moxu. The 2 chatted for a while, and Tang Yanren went to the meeting again. Lin Yu went to wash the clothes she had changed out of the past 3 days. It was almost noon before Tang Yanren returned to the office. It's not about Friday's training again. Tang Yanren sat on the stool and stretched out. Yes. Or should we have a meeting to study where to go to practice? Have you decided where to go? Most of the places outside the city that are suitable for your training have been visited by students from other schools. The leader mentioned 2 places, Crow Ridge in the west of the city and Yuha Mine in the south of the city. When Lin Yu heard these 2 places, he also shook his head. These two places are meaningless. Crow Ridge is too difficult. The death toxins of scavenging spiders and the biological viruses of ghouls are unsolvable for the current students. And the environment in Yuha Mine is not suitable for the large army of the academy to go there. Quote. Tang Yanran nodded. That's what I said too. There is no point in practicing in these places that are too difficult. It is better to let the students practice on their own in the academy. Lin Yu thought for a while and asked, where did last year's students go to practice? Last year's students only practiced twice in total. Forget it, let's not talk about it. I'm hungry. What should I eat for lunch today? After lunch, Lin Yu lay on the sofa and took a nap in the morning. He did not go home in the afternoon, but came to the training ground, and the little fat man came over again. Brother, what's your relationship with Lu Ning? I didn't expect that she would be more beautiful than Lin Moxu after taking off her glasses and braces. It has nothing to do with it. I just met her on the street yesterday afternoon, fat man. Which school do you plan to go to in the second half of the year? Where else can we go? My family has made arrangements. The local Jinling College. I have an uncle who is a teacher there. Okay, that's not bad, you don't have to travel far, and you still have family to take care of you. The next few days were uneventful. On Friday, the school had not decided on a training place and had no arrangements for the time being. Lin Yu made a custom-made cabinet and took it back, then went home and put the life storage bag into the cabinet. The 5.7-meter cabinet was placed against the wall, just enough to accommodate 2 walls. He moved all the flowers and plants to the cabinet, so that the space was much neater. After dinner, the 3 of them went out for a walk together. Xiaoyu, you didn't say you go out for training once every half-month, why didn't you go out this week? The school has not found a suitable place for the time being, and some places have been visited in advance. Oh, the 3 of them walked outside for a while and then returned home. They will rest tomorrow and are not in a hurry to go to bed tonight. After Chen Jing took a shower, she lay on Lin Yu's bed and blew on the fan. Xiaoyu, where do you plan to go in the second half of the year? Is it to Wuhun City? Martial Seoul City is too far. Let's go to the capital. Let's buy a house with a yard then, so we can have a private space, and we can also grow some vegetables in the yard. Oh, Xiaoyu, since your martial arts awakened, our life has gotten better and better. Sometimes I wonder if Wenwen and I are dragging you down. Lin Yu sat on the edge of the bed with a small stool, then took her right hand and held it in his hand. There is no such thing as a drag or a drag. As I said, no matter where I am in the future, you will always be by my side. The 2 talked for a while, and Chen Jing went back to her room to sleep. Lin Yu released the growth of all things to the flowers and plants for a while, and then took out the golden pearls and started practicing. After a night of silence, he woke up naturally the next day. He picked up his phone and took a look. Lin Xiaotao sent himself a message and asked him to go play. Lin Yu thought about it and replied that he would go to her house in the afternoon. I got up and took care of my personal hygiene. After washing up, I saw that my aunt hadn't gotten up yet, so I went to the kitchen and took out a piece of lean meat, 2 pork kidneys and some pork liver, and made a pot of broth. I waited for Chen Jing to get up and wash up. Finally, the 2 sat down and started eating. Xiaoyu, what are your plans today? I made an appointment with my classmates in the afternoon. I don't have anything to do in the morning. Auntie, why don't we go out to the city and plant some fruits? That's okay. This season, fruits like watermelon are also on the market. After breakfast, the 2 changed into a set of clothes and set off. They were just wearing ordinary clothes. Chen Jing was wearing a dress. They went out to plant vegetables and they were not going to fight. The 2 came to the market in the wealthy area. The fruits and vegetables here were more abundant than the market near their home. The 2 bought watermelon, cantaloupe, pineapple, nectarine, etc., as well as lychees and mangosteens that they had not seen before. This time they did not go to the Adventurers Association, but chose Examen, which is close to home. The code scanner looked at Chen Jing's dress and couldn't help but ask, you guys just left the city like this? It doesn't matter, let's just take a stroll at the gate of the city. After the 2 left the city, Lin Yu took out his motorcycle and drove Chen Jing to a small forest. The 2 began to plant various fruits. Hey, Xiaoyu, look, there are a lot of bees flying over. Indeed, many bees flew over and began to collect pollen on the fruit flowers. Well, this saves us from artificial pollination. The pollination effect of bees is much stronger than that of wind pollination, and the fruits they produce are also much more mellow. A watermelon and cantaloupe weighs 20 or 30 pounds. Xiao Yu, it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we should go back. That's fine. Lin Yu broke off the last few pineapples and then walked back with Chen Jing. It was a calm day today. After sending Chen Jing home, he rode to the door of Lin Xiaotao's house and knocked on the door. The door was opened from the inside. When you open it, you will see a smiling face. It is Lin Xiaotao's mother, Yi Susan. Lin Yu is here, come in quickly. Lin Yu took out some fruits that were just planted today. Well, Aunt Yi, I brought you fresh fruits today. Where are the peaches? Yi Susan whispered into Lin Yu's ear, then put away the fruits and took some to wash. Lin Yu gently pushed open the door of Lin Xiaotao's room and saw her lying on her bed. When Lin Xiaotao saw Lin Yu push the door in, she immediately showed a smile. Lin Yu, you're here. Lin Yu took out the life scepter and cast a healing spell on Lin Xiaotao. Taozi, are you feeling better? Lin Xiaotao touched her lower abdomen. Well, it's better. It doesn't hurt anymore. Your healing skills are really miraculous. Lin Xiaotao immediately got up and went to the bathroom, and when she came out she was back to her usual self. Lin Yu also felt it was amazing. This was an extraordinary world, so why did girls still have physical problems? At this time, Taozi's mother came in with 2 plates of cut fruits. Lin Xiaotao looked at these fruits she had never seen before, and she knew that they must be brought by Lin Yu. Lin Yu didn't go there in the afternoon, so they just chatted together. At 4 o'clock, Lin Yu took out some snail seafood and washed it with Yi Susan. Then he took out a stainless steel bucket and made a pot of seafood stew. It's a pity that there are no prawns. Xiao Lin, I never thought you could cook. It's just a fool's errand. It doesn't taste good. Please bear with me. Xiao Lin is so humble. This is much better than what we did ourselves. To be honest, this is the first time Daozi and I have eaten food from the sea. After dinner, Lin Yu sat at Lin Xiaotao's house for a while and then left. When he returned home, he found his aunt lying on his bed again. After he charged the battery, he went to take a bath. After returning to the room, Chen Jing sat up from the bed. Xiao Yu, do you have any plans for tomorrow? Lin Yu shook his head. I don't have any plans for tomorrow. How about we go out for a walk? That's okay. I'll buy you a set of seasonal clothes tomorrow. Otherwise, you'll be wearing school uniforms every day. That's good. We are not short of money now, so we need to prepare more sets of clothes. Chen Jing stayed here for a while and then went back to her room. After Lin Yu completed his daily tasks, he also began to fall asleep. There was nothing to say all night, and the next day it was hard to get up until the sun was shining. After washing up, Chen Jing also got up, and the 2 of them ate something simple in the morning. Lin Yu asked casually, Isn't Wenwen up? I fell asleep and didn't want to wake up. Lin Yu knew that his cousin would not get up until noon on Saturdays and Sundays, so Lin Yu ignored her and went out with Chen Jing after breakfast. Today, the 2 of them did not ride an electric donkey, but took a bus. After all, the place they wanted to go was a bit far, and the electric donkey may not have enough power, and the speed was too slow. There are very few private cars on the road. They are all public travel, and there is basically no traffic jam. After half an hour, the 2 got off the car. This time they came to the clothing street in the wealthy area. Now they were not short of money. Buy some pure cotton clothes. The 2 went to the men's clothing store first. Chen Jing picked up pieces of clothing and marked them on Lin Yu. Auntie, I think this linen t-shirt is quite good. Yeah, I think it's pretty good too. Chen Jing picked out 2 t-shirts and 2 pairs of casual pants for Lin Yu, and then paired them with 2 pairs of sneakers. Compared with the consumption in the wealthy areas, the Adventurer Association's 100,000 yuan set of gluttonous animal skin clothes was the street price. The 2 then came to the women's clothing store. Lin Yu directly asked the clerk to match Chen Jing with 2 sets of clothes suitable for her. Chen Jing changed into a set of clothes and came out. Xiao Yu, do you think it will fit? Suitable. Beautiful people look good in anything they wear. Chen Jing was very happy to hear what he said, and then Lin Yu asked the salesperson to match her with 2 pairs of leather boots. These 2 sets of clothes were much more expensive than Lin Yu's 2 sets of men's clothes. After buying women's clothing, Lin Yu took Chen Jing's hand and went into a lingerie store, asking the salesperson to choose a few suitable sets for Chen Jing. The salesperson directly selected the lace transparent style. Chen Jing thought for a while and said, "Xiao Yu, is it inappropriate for me to wear this?" There is no such thing as appropriate or inappropriate. Clothes are designed to be worn by people, as long as they are comfortable to wear. Go ahead and try it. Chen Jing thought it was right, so she went into the fitting room to try it on, and came out soon after. Lin Yu asked casually, "Are you feeling uncomfortable or anything? Or are you nervous or something?" Chen Jing shook her head. "No, it's quite comfortable to wear." "That's okay. Miss, give us 10 sets of this style and size with different patterns, and if you have men's boxer briefs, give me 10 pairs." "Okay, sir, please wait." Soon after the 2 went out from the underwear store, they saw a place selling pajamas and home clothes. Lin Yu picked 2 sets of cotton pajamas and home clothes, and bought 2 sets of silk pajamas and 2 sets of silk home clothes for Chen Jing. "Auntie, let's buy 2 sets for Wenwen. Otherwise she will be unbalanced again after we go back." "That's okay, then buy her 2 sets of pajamas. Other clothes can only be tried on by yourself." At noon, the 2 of them did not go back, but went to taste the lunch in the rich area. The 2 of them had steak and pasta for lunch. They were of very ordinary figures, but when they arrived at Blue Star, they had high-end ingredients that could only be enjoyed by the rich. "Xiao Yu, I never thought before that a few sets of clothes would cost more than 2 million. Well, I never thought about it before. 2 months ago, I went to the gate of a wealthy residential area to sell vegetables. At that time, I sold 100,000 yuan and earned the first pot of gold in my life. When I get stronger, found out that making money is not difficult." Chen Jing shook her head. "Actually, when we were in the adventurer team, it was very difficult to make money. Every time we went out of the city, we fought hard, but the money we received each time was not much. It was only about 10 or 200,000 each time. We still had to pay for daily expenses, and we had to save money to buy soul rings. At that time, storage bags were all luxury accessories, and we carried a few blood-toothed wild boars into the city ourselves." Quote. Lin Yu smiled and said, "Well, such a day will never happen again in the future." Since Lin Yu asked about his predecessor's parents on the first day, Lin Yu never asked again, and Chen Jing never mentioned it again. Both of them automatically ignored the topic. When the lunch was delivered, the 2 of them tasted it. It tasted very good. There was a faint soul power in the steak. It should be beef meat. Lin Yu asked the kitchen to make another one and take it away later. After lunch, the 2 returned home and saw an angry Chen Wenwen. "You 2 went out to play without taking me with you. Wenwen, Mom called you this morning, but you didn't get up." Lin Yu said with a smile, "Okay Wenwen. We brought you lunch, come and eat it. We also bought you clothes and shoes. You can try it after you finish eating." Hearing Lin Yu say this, Lin Wenwen felt much better, and then started eating steak pasta. After lunch, Chen Jing gave Chen Wenwen's clothes and shoes to her, and they fit well. The 3 of them didn't go out in the afternoon. They went for a walk in the evening. After taking a bath in the evening, Chen Jing put on the pink silk pajamas and lay on Lin Yu's bed. "Auntie, actually we should buy a few more sets of bedding today, but we didn't think of it during the day." Chen Jing smiled and said, "Then let's go again next week." "That's okay. Prepare more. When we arrive in the capital, we can use it directly, so we don't have to buy it at the last minute." On Monday morning, after Lin Yu washed Tang Yanren's clothes, he sat across from her. "I want to upgrade Taozi to the 2nd level. There was a soul bone from the head of the wild boar king before, or let her take a ghost mushroom. Change her cultivation qualifications." Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, "If you want her to go to the Holy Sea Academy, you can let her use ghost mushrooms first. After all, the Holy See pays special attention to cultivation qualifications. If she goes to the Capital Academy, it doesn't matter. You can let her absorb the soul bones first." What is the soul bone skill? The roar of kings and the stomp of war. These 2 soul skills are both very good control skills. What soul skill do you plan to assign to her 2nd soul ring? Lin Yu thought for a while and said, "I originally planned to arrange a lightning soul skill for her, so that the attack would have a paralysis effect, but now that the soul bone comes with a stun skill, there is no need to use control soul skills for the second soul ring. But I still plan to let her second soul ring absorb a fire soul skill, and the third soul skill will be the fearless charge of the undead knight. Tang Yanren was happy. You are really suitable to be a nanny. Come on, let's not talk about this topic anymore. Has the academy arranged a time for training again? Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, I'm still researching it. If not this weekend, then next weekend. After lunch, Lin Yu took a nap on Tang Yanren's sofa in the morning. In the afternoon, he returned to the training room and found a quiet corner to sit cross-legged and meditate. Lu Ning came over and sat cross-legged opposite him, then came over and whispered, Lin Yu, I have absorbed the second soul ring. Lin Yu smiled and said, congratulations to you. Lu Ning smiled and said, hee, I have to thank you for this. My grandpa asked me to invite you home for dinner that day. Lin Yu was also happy. Good guy, your grandfather is really scheming. He then said that he wanted me to be his grandson-in-law. He was probably planning on the right arm bone in my hand again. Hee, my grandpa does have this idea. But I also have a good impression of you. Come on, if I say I'm interested in you, that's because I'm interested. I'm not that interested, so be it. If I don't practice on Friday this week, I'll go to your house for dinner on Friday night. Lu Ning was naturally very happy when she heard Lin Yu agreed, that's okay. Then let's make an agreement like this. After Lu Ning finished speaking, he left here to practice against his classmates. Not long after, Lin Xiaotao sat over. Lin Yu, why did Lu Ning come to see you? Her grandpa invited me to her house for dinner. Lin Xiaotao said without interest, oh, now Lu Ning is the most popular person in the school. Compared with her, I am like an ugly duckling and a white swan. Okay, don't compare everything with others, your future achievements will definitely surpass hers. Lin Xiaotao pouted and said, so what? I don't have a good figure like her, and I'm not as beautiful as her. There is no cure. Your appearance is natural, but you can eat more and get your figure back. The next few days were uneventful. Sometimes when he had nothing to do in the afternoon, he would go home and watch the flowers and plants grow, or lie beside the bed and chat with Chen Jing who was lying on the bed. In the blink of an eye, Thursday came, and the school did not arrange any training for the next day. During dinner and a walk in the evening, Lin Yu spoke up. Auntie, I won't be back for dinner tomorrow night. I have a dinner date with a classmate's parent, the same one who exchanged flowers and plants with me last time. Oh, then we don't have to wait for you to eat tomorrow night. Everyone strolled to the market, bought some daily necessities and kitchen supplies, and then returned home. After Chen Jing took a shower, she lay on Lin Yu's bed and watched Lin Yu take out the flowers and plants from the life storage bag and start to use the growth of all things. Xiao Yu, you said your life storage bag can contain living things. Can people go in? I don't know. I haven't done any experiments. I'll find a chance to verify it later. If people can go in, sometimes it will be a lot easier. If people can go in, it will become a small room, and even a bed can be arranged to be put in it. After arriving at school the next day, Lu Ning came over and said, Lin Yu, I have told my grandfather that you will go to our house for dinner tonight. Okay, let's leave the school together around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's okay. In the morning, Lin Yu came to Tang Yanren's office and talked about going to Lu Ning's house. Tang Yanren showed an expression that was indeed true. Look, their family still misses the soul bone in your hand. I don't care about soul bones, but it's definitely not possible to have for nothing. As long as she can pay the price, I can give it to her. Tang Yanren laughed directly. Haha. What price can I pay to make you the son-in-law of the Lu family? Come on, even if Lu Ning is now rated as the #1 school beauty of our #1 middle school by those good people, and even beats Lin Moxu in terms of appearance, I won't call her. That shows that you have no vision. Lu Ning's figure and face completely crush Lin Xiaotao. Lin Yu shook his head. Forget it. Let's not talk about this topic. Let's talk about you. I plan to leave for the capital after graduation. You can come with us. Let's see. As a class teacher, I still have a lot of things to do. I can't just start picking things up as soon as I have a holiday like you. I still have to make arrangements for all my classmates. It is estimated that there will be about 2 weeks left, and all major colleges will send people in advance. I came here to recruit internally. Are you sure you want to go to Jingcheng College? It's necessary. It's the same if you go to any college. What I lack is theoretical knowledge. No one can teach me practical knowledge. After lunch, Lin Yu shamelessly came to the bedroom, quietly closed the door, and then lay down next to Tang Yanran. Tang Yanran opened her eyes and glanced at him, and continued to take a nap without driving him out of bed. When it was almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lu Ning came to see Lin Yu. Lin Yu took Lu Ning off on a small electric donkey. Lu Ning sat in the back seat of Lin Yu and also hugged his waist. Lin Yu felt that Lu Ning and Lin Xiaotao were two extremes. Lin Xiaotao was lying on his back and he could feel her ribs, while Lu Ning was lying on his back and there was only endless softness. Lu Ning put his chin on Lin Yu's shoulder, then leaned into Lin Yu's ear and said, "Lin Yu, do you think I should be prettier than the monitor? It is undeniable that you are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in Jinling City. Even Lin Moxu, the former number 1 high school genius, pales in comparison to you. Then why can you accept the monitor, but not me? Daozi is willing to make a baby for me, are you willing? Being small, I don't want to. Let me be big." Soon after, under Lu Ning's guidance, the little electric donkey rode into the wealthy area and stopped in the yard of a single-family villa. Lin Yu was immediately attracted by the plants in the yard. Hey, Emperor Blood Grass, Purple Leaf Chonglo, Blue and White Nightshade, Dragon Blood Shouyang Ginseng, what a guy. Lu Ning, your grandpa is here well prepared. Lu Ning's grandfather just walked out of the house at this time, haha. My little friend, if I hadn't been prepared at all, I wouldn't have dared to invite you to your door. Please come in, my little friend. Grandpa Lu, please. Lin Yu walked into the house and saw a beautiful woman, who should be Lu Ning's mother, so he was not surprised about Lu Ning's capital. Lu Ning was nothing compared to her mother. Lu Ning introduced. Lin Yu, this is my mother, Lu Yani. Lin Yu respectfully shouted, "Hello Aunt Lu." Lu Yani also smiled and said, "Xiaolin, sit down quickly." Lin Yu took out a few boxes of fruit from the space. It's the first time we met Aunt Lu. I didn't have anything to show for it. I only had a little fruit. I hope Auntie won't be offended. Hey, Xiaolin, you're welcome, you feel like home when you come here. Lin Yu couldn't stand Lu Yani looking at him with burning eyes, so he went directly to the yard. What should I say? Lu Yani looked at him like a mother-in-law looks at her son-in-law. Lin Yu saw Mr. Lu playing with flowers and plants outside, and he simply said, "Grandpa Lu, these herbs are not as many as last time." Mr. Lu smiled and said, "Isn't it enough that I give you my precious granddaughter? Your granddaughter doesn't want to be young, so tell the truth." I knew it wasn't that simple. Come with me, little friend. Lin Yu followed the old man to the study room at home. The old man took out a green ring from the drawer and placed it in front of Lin Yu. I got this from a secret realm when I was young. Although I haven't figured out its purpose for so many years, I know that it should be a treasure, because no storage magic weapon can store it. My friends, please take a look. When Lin Yu saw the ring, he had a feeling of blood connection, as if it belonged to him, and then he took a look with his golden eyes. Ring of Life. Contains 200 times 100 times 100 meters of life space. It needs to be activated with life attributes soul power. After recognizing the owner, you can enter and exit by yourself, and can open the portal to the God of Life realm, locked. Although it is not as large as the inner space of the Prince's Ring, it is already a space that one can enter. This thing is similar to the spiritual spring space in the Siheyuan series of novels, although there is no spiritual spring. Lin Yu suppressed his inner excitement. Grandpa Lu, I am really interested in this ring. With a few pots of flowers in the yard, our deal is complete. Mr. Lu was also happy. Okay. They belong to you now. Lin Yu was not polite, put away the Ring of Life, took out the right arm bone of the Bobcat King, placed it in front of Grandpa Lu Ning, and then went to the yard to collect the rare medicinal materials. Lin Yu, have you made an agreement with my grandfather? Lin Yu was in a good mood now, and then smiled at Lu Ning and said, your grandpa promised to let you give me a baby. Lu Ning said shyly, Lin Yu, you are annoying. She is not a fool. Lin Yu is in such a good mood. which means that Lin Yu and his grandfather have reached a deal, and both of them are satisfied with the result. Soon after, a car drove into the yard, and a middle-aged man got out of the car. Lu Ning introduced Lin Yu that this was her father, Lu Xiaokong. Lin Yu also greeted politely, "Hello, Uncle Lu." Lu Xiaokong looked at Lin Yu next to his daughter and seemed to understand something. He smiled and said, "Okay. Sit in the room." Lin Yu found that Lu Ning's father had the aura of a powerful person, and he was probably a cadre. The two exchanged a few friendly words, and Lu Yani came over to inform him about dinner. The meal in the evening was very sumptuous. Lin Yu declined the invitation to drink and simply ate the food. The food tasted very good, with all the colors, aromas and flavors. The food prepared by professional chefs was much better than that of himself and Chen Jing. After dinner, Lin Yu drank a cup of tea and said goodbye to the Lu family one by one. Lu Yani also invited him to come often. After Lin Yu left on his little electric donkey, Lu Xiaokong looked at his father. Mr. Lu didn't show any concern and directly took out the Bobcat King's right arm bone. Lu Xiaokong picked up the sole bone and played with it before replacing it. "Dad, what did you exchange for it? Don't talk about making him our son-in-law. This child has no such idea at all. Mr. Lu didn't sell it off. The ring I used to collect and the herbs in the yard. Come on, I'm going to trade a piece of 100,000-year-old soul bone for a rubbish ring that you can't understand all your life. Do you think you're smart? Or that Lin Yu is stupid? That kid is not stupid. Just because we don't understand, it doesn't mean others can't understand. No one is stupid these days. Do you want me to go back and have someone investigate him? Don't do stupid things. If someone can take out extremely precious things, it means that he has enough power. If it weren't for his background, and the soul bone for soul ring incident that caused a lot of commotion in the Adventurer Association some time ago, we have a little relationship with him, we just need to stay friendly with him." Lin Yu returned home, and Chen Jing was lying on his bed playing with his mobile phone. He took a bath first, then returned to the bedroom, took out the Ring of Life and put it on the table. Then he took out the Scepter of Life and released all things to the ring. Grow. Currently, his only soul skill, growth of all things, releases the soul power of life, and his own soul power is the most rigid and yang soul power of the most holy art of universe. As the green vitality from the top of the life scepter was absorbed by the ring, the green ring also emitted green light. Chen Jing also sat up and watched all this with interest. Soon the ring burst out with a green light, and Lin Yu found himself in a strange place, but it was pitch black. He took out his tactical flashlight and looked around, and found that this was a green grassland with an area of 4 it is the size of a standard stadium, surrounded by a void of fog, and you can see the stars when you look up. Not long after, Lin Yu suddenly appeared again, and he was greeted with a warm embrace. "Xiao Yu, where have you been? You scared me." Listening to Chen Jing's sobs, Lin Yu quickly went over to comfort her, then explained the situation of the Ring of Life and decided to take her to see it tomorrow. After comforting Chen Jing for a while, Chen Jingsong went back to the opposite room to sleep. Lin Yu picked up the Ring of Life and put it on his hand directly. Another burst of green light flashed, and the green ring disappeared, but he could feel its presence. This is recognition of the master. He now clearly feels everything in the life ring, even down to every blade of grass. Moreover, according to the information he received, the time inside the life ring is synchronized with the time outside, so if he goes in during the day, it is possible that it is also daytime inside. I suppressed my excitement and let myself fall asleep. I was speechless all night. When I woke up the next day, I felt that it was indeed daytime inside. When Chen Jing came out of the bathroom, Lin Yu pulled her and teleported her to the life space. Before Chen Jing could react, the two of them had already appeared in a strange place. Chen Jing looked around curiously. "Xiao Yu, is this the inside of your life ring?" Lin Yu smiled and said, "Well, Auntie, we have a private place this time." Then Lin Yu took out all the elixirs in the life storage bag. He opened a special medicine field and planted all the elixirs on his body. "Xiao Yu, are these medicinal materials with different properties planted separately? And is there some distance between the medicinal materials? Is it possible for them to grow new small medicinal materials?" Auntie is right. When the two returned home, it was almost noon. Both of them were covered with mud. Lin Yu placed the medicine field in the center of the space. It was not big, only about 5 meters by 5 meters. In the morning, more than 30 elixir plants were planted. Xiaoyu, you go take a shower first. I'm going to cook and I'll take a shower later. That's okay too. After the two of them took a shower, Chen Wenwen also got up. After she finished washing, the three of them had lunch together. Lin Yu looked at Chen Wenwen across from him and asked with a smile, Wenwen, let's go shopping in the afternoon, will you go? Chen Wenwen immediately shouted, go. Don't even think about leaving me this time. After lunch, the three of them each changed into a set of clothes, and then took a bus to a shopping mall in a wealthy area. The three of them first went to buy 2 sets of clothes for Chen Wenwen. Chen Wenwen put on new clothes, giving off the aura of a young and beautiful girl. Out. Then the three of them went to buy bedding. Lin Yu bought 10 sets in one go. After thinking about it, Lin Yu even bought 5 beds. Brother, why are we buying so much bedding? Even if we buy bedding, we don't have to buy the bed together. Lin Yu smiled and said back, be prepared, what if there is no bed in the house in Beijing? Lin Yu looked at the place where furniture was sold, and there was also a rocking chair for sale, so he lay down on it and it felt pretty good. Auntie, please give it a try, I feel pretty good. Chen Jing lay down and felt it, it's okay. It's quite comfortable. Lin Yu waved his hand, then I'll buy it, 4 of them. Then Lin Yu came to pick up several sets of furniture such as tables, chairs and benches. This stroll lasted all afternoon. In the evening, the three of them went home after dinner. After washing themselves, Chen Jing was wearing white silk pajamas and lying on Lin Yu's bed. Xiaoyu, do you want to build a house in the living space? Lin Yu nodded. I do have this idea, but it won't be completed for a while, and there is no lighting inside at night. If the house is renovated, should it be illuminated by a generator? Or by luminous grass? Chen Jing thought for a while and said, I think glow-in-the-dark grass is fine. Luminous grass in the wild is still very common. Lin Yu nodded. Indeed, there were a lot of luminous grasses in the crypt of the evil demon king last time. Let's talk about this later. I plan to dig a pond around the medicine field. There is no water in the space. I feel like something is missing. Quote. Chen Jing smiled and said, then I'll dig one for you. No, I have a way to dig a pond quickly. Chen Jing stayed for a while and then went back to the room. Lin Yu took out his mobile phone and sent a few messages to Lin Xiaotao. He was busy today and had no time to talk to her during the day. The two chatted for a while, then said good night to each other and went to bed. Early the next morning, Lin Yu got up and was about to dig a pond. He found that Chen Jing had also gotten up, and he immediately brought her into the life space. The soul bone weapon in Lin Yu's hand turned into a 2-meter thick drill bit, and then he used the electro-optical poisonous dragon drill to drill more than a dozen times around the medicine field, collect all the soil, and dug out a 20-meter square pond. The collected soil was piled at one end of the space. At this time, Chen Jing came over. Xiaoyu, it's already 11 o'clock. Okay, let's go out. Lin Yu was covered in mud and could not carry Chen Jing out, so he directly held her hand and walked out of the space. Lin Yu immediately went to take a shower and left. During lunch, Chen Jing asked casually, Xiaoyu, are you still going out in the afternoon? Lin Yu said directly, I have an appointment with my classmates in the afternoon. If you don't come back before 6 o'clock in the evening, you don't have to wait for me to eat. Oh, after lunch, Lin Yu rode a small electric donkey to the downstairs of Lin Xiaotao's house. He went up to the second floor and knocked on the door. The person who opened the door was still the same beautiful smiling face. Lin Yu smiled. How good Aunt Yi. Yi Susan smiled and said, Lin Yu, come in quickly. Then she shouted towards the door of Lin Xiaotao's room, Taozi, Lin Yu is here. Lin Xiaotao, dressed in home clothes, walked out of the room with a surprised look on her face. Lin Yu, why didn't you tell me before you came? Lin Yu said with a smile, passing by here, come up and take a look. Lin Xiaotao took Lin Yu's hand directly to her room, and Yi Susan also brought in a cup of tea. Lin Yu didn't hesitate, took out a head soul bone and a yellow soul ring from the space, and handed them to Lin Xiaotao. Lin Xiaotao asked a little puzzled, Lin Yu, what are you doing? This head soul bone is very suitable for your martial spirit. This soul ring belongs to the flame bat in the evil cave last time. After absorbing this soul bone, you can absorb this soul ring. Lin Xiaotao shook his head. Lin Yu, this soul bone is too precious, you can absorb it yourself. Lin Yu said with a smile. The one given to you must be suitable for you, be obedient. Lin Xiaotao nodded obediently, then sat on the bed and began to absorb the soul bones. Lin Xiaotao simply could not bear the soul power contained in 100,000-year soul bone. Lin Yu then took off his shoes and went to bed, sitting cross-legged behind Lin Xiaotao, placing his palms against Lin Xiao's back, running his exercises to help her refine her soul bones, and absorb the excess surging soul power in her body into himself. Yi Susan looked at all this curiously. She found that Lin Yu had so many secrets. From the surging soul power emanating from her daughter, she knew that this soul bone was not simple. Half an hour later, the soul bone turned into a ray of light and penetrated Lin Xiaotao's forehead. Lin Yu asked Lin Xiaotao to continue absorbing the soul ring, and then he got into Lin Xiaotao's bathroom with sweat and took a shower. After Lin Yu took a shower, he felt exhausted all over. Then he didn't care so much anymore and went directly to the bed in another room and fell asleep. Yi Susan saw Lin Yu coming out of the bathroom, so she walked into the bathroom, took out a set of very cute underwear, and sent it to the balcony of the room to dry, but found that Lin Yu had fallen on her bed, hugging her thin quilt, making a slight snoring sound. Lin Yu was so tired that he dug a pond in the life space in the morning, and just helped Lin Xiaotao absorb soul bones in the afternoon and broke out in a sweat. When Lin Yu woke up again, he found that it seemed to be dark outside. He took his phone and took a look. It was already 8 o'clock in the evening. After Lin Yu got up, he went to the bathroom and pushed the door straight in. He started to clean up his personal hygiene. Then he found that there was another person taking a shower next to him. The two looked at each other, which was a bit embarrassing. The good guy took a shower without turning on the light, but he didn't even lock the door. He immediately left the bathroom and quietly closed the bathroom door. When he came to Lin Xiaotao's room, he saw that she was still meditating on the bed. He did not disturb her. He returned to the opposite room, took off his pajamas, changed into a new set of clothes, then folded the thin quilt on the bed and remade the bed. At this time, Yi Susan was wrapped in a bath towel and left with a blushing face. Lin Yu said goodbye directly. Aunt Yi, it's getting late tonight, I should go back. You go back and tell Taozi. You haven't eaten yet, I'll prepare some food for you. Lin Yu waved his hand. No. There is still food in the space. Goodbye, Aunt Yi. Lin Yu left Lin Xiaotao's house and went downstairs to ride his bike. He felt someone was watching him from behind. He turned around and saw Yi Susan on the balcony. He waved to her and left on his bike. Lin Yu returned home and found Chen Jing still in his room. He took a shower first and returned to the room, lying directly next to her. Chen Jing turned around and looked at Lin Yu opposite. Xiao Yu, do you feel tired? It's true, I slept at my classmate's house this afternoon. Don't be anxious about things in space. Well, I'm really anxious. Let's take it slow in the future. Chen Jing stayed here for a while and then went back to her room. Lin Yu opened the system panel. It was already level 32. He absorbed all the excess soul power from Lin Xiaotao's head soul bone. Lin Yu looked at the third soul ring of his life scepter martial spirit, the 10-year Centella Asiatica soul ring, and its soul skill, detoxification. The detoxification effect is affected by the age of the soul ring and the strength of the user. Then we looked at the third soul ring of the God-killing gun, the 10-year ice elemental soul ring, and the soul skill, ice bullet. The ice bullet can bring refrigerator damage to the target and also has a freezing effect. The damage and freezing are affected by the age of the soul ring, and the influence of user strength. He set the third soul ring of the life scepter to 9,999, while the third soul ring of the God-killing spear was directly set to 100,000 years, adding a splitting ice bullet soul skill. Splitting ice bullets. After using this soul skill, after the bullet hits the first target, it will begin to split into 3 secondary ice bullets, which will automatically splash targets near the target. The secondary ice bullets also have a freezing effect. Every 100,000 years when the ring is upgraded, the chance of splitting will increase once. The maximum number of splits is 10. The damage of secondary bullets will be reduced by half every time it splits, and the freezing effect will remain unchanged. Lin Yu then calculated 3 to the 10th power and 2 to the 10th power. That is, if he had given the soul bone enough time for 1 million years, he would be able to split 59,049 secondary ice bullets with one shot, but the damage effect has also been reduced by 1024 times, and it has become a group control soul skill. Then he stopped paying attention to the soul ring issue and began to fall asleep. Although he slept all afternoon, he could still sleep now. After sending Lin Wenwen to middle school the next day, Lin Xiaotao was still waiting for Lin Yu on the roadside. After Lin Xiaotao got on the electric donkey, she hugged his waist and asked, "Lin Yu, when did you leave last night?" "About 8 o'clock. Seeing that you are practicing, I will leave. I don't know when you will get up, so I plan to meditate for a while to consolidate my strength." "Lin Yu, do you know what level 1 am now?" "Level 30. How many more levels can you reach?" "Let's consolidate our strength first." In fact, Lin Yu was worried that Lin Xiaotao would be coveted if her soul power was too high, and he would not be able to stay by her side all the time. In the morning, Lin Yu talked about this issue with Tang Yanren. "Is there anything to cover up my soul power? Don't you have this ability yourself?" "I'm talking about Lin Xiaotao. After she absorbed a soul bone yesterday, her soul power directly rose to level 30. Her soul power is too high, and it's easy for her to show off." Tang Yanren shook her head. "This is more troublesome. Unless there is a special magic weapon to cover it up, or a special soul bone that is immune to mental power detection, there is no chance. In fact, you don't have to worry too much. The school and the city are very safe. Besides, even if you go out of the city, with a super master like you by your side, do you still have to worry about her safety?" After lunch, he left school and returned home. Chen Jing was taking a nap, so he returned to the space and continued digging ponds. When he came out of the space at around 4 o'clock, Chen Jing had already gotten up. When she saw the dusty look on his body, she knew what he was doing. "Xiao Yu, why didn't you just ask me to come in with you?" "Aunt, I see you are taking a nap, so I won't disturb you. I'm going to take a bath first." In the next 2 days, he would leave school and go home in the afternoon if he had nothing to do. He continued to work on the pond. Chen Jing followed him in and planted some fruit seeds at the other end of the space. After Lin Yu's growth of all things, these fruits had formed a patchwork fruit grove. By Thursday evening, this part of the pond was temporarily finished. Part of the pond was dug to a depth of 6 meters, and the remaining part was only 4 meters deep. In fact, most of the past 2 days were spent on repairing the bank of the pond and shaping the bank into a slope, and then shake it firmly so that it will not be eroded by water and collapse. During dinner in the evening, Chen Jing asked, "Xiao Yu, are you going to practice tomorrow?" "Go. The school will organize students to go to the outskirts of Crow Ridge tomorrow. This should be the last experience for high school." Oh. After dinner, Lin Yu went directly back to his room to lie down, and went to dig a pond in the afternoon, so naturally he was too lazy to go out for a walk. After sending Chen Wenwen to school the next day, she drove Lin Xiaotao to the school and got on the bus prepared by the school. As soon as Lin Yu found a seat by the window and sat down, he felt a gust of fragrant wind blowing over him. Lu Ning sat next to him. "If you do this, I will become the public enemy of all males in the school." Lu Ning smiled and said, "Hee hee. I just want to sit with you. As long as you don't mind, I won't care what other people think." Yang Dabao got on the bus and saw Lu Ning next to Lin Yu, and went directly to sit with Xu Dewei. After the school teacher saw that all the students had arrived, the bus started to leave. After the car left the city, Lu Ning came over and whispered in his ear, "The squad leader's soul power has improved a lot. Did you help her?" "That's right. Can you feel this?" "Of course. Don't forget that my martial spirit is a cat, and cats have very strong sensory abilities. Lin Moxu should also have absorbed the second spirit ring." Lin Yu shook his head. "I'm not very familiar with Lin Moxu. In fact, after he had the ability to break the illusion of golden eyes, Lin Yu only used it to see people twice, only Tang Yanren and Chen Wenwen, and never used this ability to see anyone else again." Lu Ning continued, "Her family is the richest man in Jinling. The Lin family has been operating in Jinling for many years. Naturally, she has a background that others do not have. It is normal for her to improve her strength quickly. In fact, when the martial arts awakened, the settings of our school's machines were changed. The highest level of soul power can be detected. When Lin Yu heard this, he probably understood what Lu Ning meant, and asked, "What do you mean? When the martial soul awakened, Lin Moxu's soul power should be more than level 10. Absolutely. When we entered the school in the first year of high school, Lin Moxu looked cold and icy. At that time, she should have practiced their ice art. It has been 3 years, how could her soul power be possible? Only level 10. Lin Yu looked at Lu Ning curiously. What about you? Your family doesn't have ancestral skills or anything like that. Lu Ning shook his head. If my family had ancestral skills, my soul power would not be only innate level 8. Even though our family lives in a wealthy area, it is far different from theirs. Lin Yu felt that what Lu Ning said made sense, and then glanced at Lin Moxu. Name: Lin Moxu. Age: 18. Martial spirit: Ice Phoenix. Soul power: 30. Soul ring: yellow. Soul skills: Ice arrow, ice armor. The eldest lady of the Jinling Lin family has practiced the family's ice art for many years and has unparalleled strength among her peers. Close tortoise shell bracket. Good guy. Lin Yu feels that he has underestimated these natives. A famous family that has been running Jinling City for many years does have a background that others do not have. What he is curious about now is, what about the big families in the capital or the royal family of Daxia? It seems that in the future, the university life here will not be too peaceful. An hour later, the bus stopped at the Crow Ridge Cemetery Management Office, and everyone got off the bus one after another. This used to be the Jinling City Cemetery, and the dead of Jinling City were brought here to be buried. Later, after people moved into the city, the place became deserted. This is also a relatively well-known place in Jinling City. The school teacher also specially explained that this is also a place where adventurers are too lazy to come. The rabbits in Rabbit Mountain can be taken back to eat after all. After the undead in Crow Ridge are killed, they are either a pile of bones or a pile of bones. There are piles of carrion, and the difficulty here is higher than the first abandoned town. This time, the students no longer go in together in a swarm, but travel in small groups. According to the different strengths of the students, the school divides the 80 students into 16 small groups, and each group is equipped with a teacher. Jizan's team was originally the Sanlin team of Lin Moxu, Lin Xiaotao and Lin Yu, but this time 2 more people were added, Lu Ning and Wang Chao. Wang Chao was considered the number 1 defensive soul master in the school, so he was assigned to Lin Yu's team, led by teacher Tang Yanren. Each teacher had their own training location. Tang Yanren called 5 people over. Your team is the strongest team in the school. Your mission this time is an underground tomb in the cemetery. We don't know what is going on in the tomb. We can only tell you what is going on. Be vigilant. Lin Yu raised his hand and asked curiously, Teacher Tang, we are going to the underground tomb. Is it someone's ancestral tomb? Tang Yanren was speechless for a while, wondering what question Lin Yu was asking, and then said angrily, is it someone's ancestral tomb that I don't know? But I know it's definitely not yours. Let's go. Chapter 51. The various teams in the academy began to set off. Most of the teams chose to kill the skeleton monsters wandering around the cemetery. A few capable teams chose to go deep. Crow Ridge was so big that the 6 of them climbed several hills before reaching their destination. On the way, they also encountered wandering skeleton monsters and skeleton warriors, which were smashed to pieces by them one by one. Lin Yu took a look. The entrance to the so-called underground tomb was also on a hillside. There was a small stone house on the ground. There was a downward step in the stone house. This did not seem to be the burial method of the people of the Dragon Kingdom. Tang Yanren took out the tactical flashlight from the space bag, and Lin Yu and others put on their headlamps. After preparations were completed, Wang Chao took out his martial arts shield and walked at the front of the team, followed closely by Lin Xiaotao and Lu Ning, followed by Lin Mo Shui. Lin Yu and Tang Yanren were walking side by side behind them. There is a smell of decay. This kind of crypt-style burial should not be the burial method for people from the eastern district of the Federation. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he took out 2 masks and thoughtfully put one on Tang Yanren first, and then put it on himself. Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, I checked the information here in the past few days. The person who contracted the Crow Ridge Cemetery in the past was from the Federal West District. He built many such underground tombs under Crow Ridge, specially for people. It's a money service. You can see from the outside design that rainwater will not flow in when it rains. Moreover, the underground tomb does not only have one underground floor, but also 2 or 3 underground floors. Soon a fight broke out in the front. Several people encountered a ghoul, and the 4 of them were able to deal with it with one move. After turning the corner and entering the underground tomb hall, Lin Yu realized how big it was. The entire tomb was made of marble and white marble. It was designed like a European palace. There were small side rooms on both sides of the palace. In each side room, there were a stone coffin with the name and information of the owner of the tomb engraved on the front of the coffin. Lin Yu saw the surrounding buildings and secretly exclaimed, "Okay. Poverty limits my imagination. Rich people are buried in different ways. I just arrived at the back and lived in a large room by myself." Then the entire room wall they are all praising their life stories. Tang Yanran nodded. That is inevitable. Although I have never been here, I have been to the underground tombs in other places before, and it is indeed what you said. As everyone goes deeper, there are more and more monsters, but 3 second-level soul masters can easily deal with them. Lin Yu stretched. What a boring day. Tang Yanran smiled. Don't worry, I found a big guy and I'm targeting them. Hearing Tang Yanran say this, Lin Yu looked up at the roof. It was indeed a big guy, a death spider that was about 4,000 years old. The spider's body alone was as big as a car, and each tentacle was at least 5 or 6 meters long. Lin Yu was a little confused. Spiders eat meat. This place has been abandoned for 100 years. How could this spider grow so big? I have never understood whether these monsters have grown so big in these places over the years, or whether they came from other places. How long has it been deserted here? Tang Yanran thought for a while and said, generally, carnivorous monsters will increase their lifespan by devouring other monsters, and herbivorous monsters can also increase their lifespan by eating some good herbs. Generally, only plant-type monsters see the environment in which they grow is really bad year by year, and this kind of monster is obviously not a common monster. Most of them came from other planes 100 years ago. Quote, the few people in front were still doing their selfless output, unaware that there was a hunter above them staring at them. The few of them advanced from one hall to another hall in front. The death spider on the roof was not in a hurry to take action. As a top hunter, it had been following them quietly on the roof, waiting for the opportunity. It wasn't until an hour later that the 4 of them had cleaned up all the monsters on the first floor, and sat on the ground and each took out water to replenish their strength. The moment Lu Ning took the mineral water to drink, she saw the big guy falling from the sky. She grabbed Lin Xiaotao's collar and stepped aside. Wang Chao saw Lu Ning's movements and felt the danger was approaching, but it was too late to run away, so he immediately raised his shield. Bang! The shield blocked one of the death spider's spider legs, but the whole person was pinned under the shield by the spider's legs and could not move. The 3 people who reacted began to attack, and Lin Moxu shot an ice arrow. The second red soul ring lit up on Lin Xiaotao's body, and the tip of the coiling dragon gun ignited flames, and pierced the spider's leg that was pressing Wang Chao. A beam of flames spurted out, directly burning the spider's leg. Feeling the pain, he put away the leg that was pressing down on Wang Chao. Lu Ning took the opportunity to grab Wang Chao's hair and drag him out. At this time, Lin Yu landed a healing spell on Wang Chao. Wang Chao, who recovered, held up a shield and a long sword and began to block the death spider's attack. Tang Yanran looked at the spider leg that was still glowing with flames, and looked at Lin Yu who was standing aside. The second soul ring you chose for Lin Xiaotao is the flame continuous damage soul skill. Of course, I'm not a fool. It's impossible for me to choose a burst damage elemental spirit ring for her. It doesn't match her martial spirit. As for letting her absorb an elemental spirit ring, then even if she encounters a monster that is immune to physical damage, she won't be caught blind. Tang Yanran said helplessly, you are really a good nanny. You have even thought of all these things for her. Why didn't I meet you when I was in high school? Lin Yu said with a smile, if you were still 18, I might still look down on you. The 4 people on the field were able to do it with ease. Wang Chao, as a defensive soul master, attracted the attraction of the death spider. Lin Xiaotao and Lu Ning attacked it from behind. Lin Moxu hit the spider with an ice arrow. The ice arrow also had a certain effect. Due to the freezing effect, the spider of the dead moves slower and slower. It was only a matter of time before the four of them took down the dead spider. At this moment, the death spider sprayed a spider web at Lin Xiaotao and Lu Ning. Lu Ning dodged away immediately, but Lin Xiaotao was not that fast and was directly caught by the spider web, live. The death spider turned around and started spraying venom towards Lin Xiaotao. Wang Chao immediately stood in front of Lin Xiaotao, and countless gray venom spurted out. Lin Yu's body lit up with a third purple soul ring, and 2 detoxification spells fell on them. Both of them. Tang Yanren looked over curiously. Hey, when will you advance to the 3rd level? Last week. I thought you knew. Tang Yanren shook her head. Ever since you awakened your soul skill, you have constantly used your soul skills against me, and I can no longer feel your strength. After a round of venom spray, the spider of the dead ushered in its recent fate and turned into a purple soul ring. Lin Xiaotao took the soul ring and showed it to Lin Yu. It turned out to be a control soul ring. Lin Yu said directly, the control soul ring should be a spider web soul skill, and it should be able to sell it for some money. You take it first and then talk about it last. Quote. Lin Xiaotao directly accepted the soul ring, and threw away the previous soul rings such as zombies and ghouls. Everyone sat down to rest again and eat something by the way. Tang Yanren said, Lin Yu, as a bystander, please analyze the pros and cons of the battle they just fought. Lin Yu thought for a while and said, how should I put it? Everyone performed well. Among the 4, Wang Chao has the best fighting awareness. In fact, everyone can solve the battle more easily. The death spider still has many weaknesses. For example, Lu Ning, you can use your speed advantage to jump on the back of the death spider. The spider's back is its blind spot for attacks. You can cut off the connection between its body and abdomen, which can almost kill you with one hit. But you just fought with it. Lin Xiaotao stays behind the spider's abdomen, so your effective attacks will be much less, and you will be easily caught in the spider's web. In fact, this death spider was almost killed by Lin Moxu's ice arrows, and it can be considered that you killed it bit by bit. In fact, Lin Moxu, you were able to attack the spider's compound eyes just now. No matter how hard the armor on his body was, the eyes are still the weak point of most monsters. The key point is that the death spider has no eyelids. Those eyes are like car headlights. An ice pick will burst the eyeballs, and another ice pick will be shot from the eyeballs into the brain, which perfectly solves the battle. And Lin Xiaotao, although your spear martial spirit is not suitable for frontal combat, when you got behind it, you pierced its anus with a shot of fire and burned it. The battle had been resolved long ago. Teacher Tang, I have finished saying that. Maybe what I said is wrong, please correct me. Tang Yanren smiled and did not say directly, but looked at the 4 of them. Do you think what Lin Yu said makes sense? Wang Chao said nothing, while Lin Moxu was deep in thought. She just saw 3 soul rings on Lin Yu. Lu Ning pursed his lips and said, classmate Lin Yu said that we performed well at the beginning, but what he said later made us look useless. Tang Yanren said with a smile, what Lin Yu is talking about are the weaknesses of death spiders. These weaknesses can be used on almost all spider monsters. Of course, it is very simple for Lin Yu to say, but it is very difficult in actual combat. Achieving this requires very high combat skills. In my opinion, your performance is indeed good. To be honest, it is much better than our original performance. What you lack is combat experience, which will need to be accumulated over the years. Quote. What Tang Yanren said was relatively normal. Of course she knew that Lin Yu could entreat him as a student. He said it was as simple as eating and drinking. How difficult was it for these high school students who had just come into contact with actual combat? After everyone rested for a while, they began to enter the 2nd floor of the underground tomb. The 2nd floor was obviously much shorter than the 1st floor, which is the height of a normal underground parking lot, about 4 meters. However, the single rooms in the tomb here were obviously wider than the ones above. This time, the 4 of them were able to kill monsters and absorb soul rings with ease. It was like playing a game, and there must be a boss at the end of each level. At the end of the 2nd level, there is a 5,000-year-old skeleton ice mage. This time the 4 people fight is more difficult. The ice mage uses frost nova, freezing the 4 of them. This time even Lu Ning is also not immune. Faced with the ice arrows knocked out by the ice skeleton, Lin Yu could only block an ice arrow for them. Lin Xiaotao used a flame gun to lift the ice at the feet of several people. Lin Yu once again gave each person a treatment shot. Step aside. Soon after, the skeleton magic stone was shattered on the ground. Lin Xiaotao once again put away a purple soul ring. Everyone took a rest and continued down to the third floor of the underground tomb. Lin Yu glanced at the time. It was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The school's prescribed time was to return to the bus before 4:30. The third underground floor is already the last floor of the underground tomb. This floor is much more luxurious than the upper 2 floors, but the number of tombs is much smaller. However, as Lin Yu said, there are some carvings praising the owner of the tomb on the walls of each tomb. Great achievements. Instead, there were no monsters here. Everyone searched for them, but found nothing, so they were ready to leave. Kacha, Yin. There was a sound of stones rubbing together. A huge coffin lid was pushed open from the inside. A withered hand rested on the edge of the coffin, and then a zombie wearing armor and holding a hammer weapon floated out of the coffin. Lin Yu found that this zombie was different from any zombie he had found before. He took a curious look with his golden eyes. Name: Tang Rishan. Age: 100,000 years. Type: Drought Demon. Skills: Flurry of Wind, Charged Blow, Tornado, Gravity Blow. He was once the leader of the Rishan sect in another world. After being killed by his own son, he felt resentful and turned into a zombie full of resentment. He came here through a dimensional portal 100 years ago and has been sleeping in a sarcophagus. Among them, he will only wake up when he meets a strong person. Who disturbed my sect leader's sleep? Die. A gravity blow. As soon as Tang Rishan opened his mouth, several people who were eager to try were scared to the point of weakness. Looking at the giant hammer appearing above their heads, several people looked desperate. Lin Yu immediately appeared next to the 3 of them, grabbed Wang Chao and threw him behind him. No one would be killed if he dropped it, and there would be absolutely no residue left under the hammer. Then he picked up Lu Ning and Lin Xiaotao and appeared at the entrance to the 3rd floor. Run! Tang Yanran didn't need her to shout. When Tang Rishan spoke, she grabbed Lin Moxu and ran outside. Lin Yu threw Lin Xiaotao and Lu Ning onto the 2nd floor, and then came to the half-dead Wang Chao and mentioned him and flashed again. Bang! Tang Rishan hit the ground with a sledgehammer. All the marble on the ground turned into powder, and huge holes appeared on the ground, just like a bomb had exploded. Lin Yu threw Wang Chao to the upper floor and shouted to Tang Yanran, "Take them out. This place is going to collapse." Tang Yan nodded, went to the 2nd floor, picked up Wang Chao, and ran outside. The other 3 reacted and ran upwards immediately. Lin Yu looked at Tang Rishan who was running over with a sledgehammer. The god-killing spear appeared in his hand, and all 3 soul rings appeared. Bang bang bang. Lin Yu fired more than a dozen ice bullets at Tang Rishan, and Tang Rishan shouted, "The wind is dancing wildly." Tang Rishan swung the sledgehammer, forming an airtight hammer-like curtain around him, and then made a ding 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 sound. All the bullets were blocked by the sledgehammer, and the ice condensed on the sledgehammer was also shaken by the swing. Broken, he could only flash behind it again and shoot again. Bang bang bang. This time it took several shots to freeze it, and then it was replaced with million-year-old armor-piercing explosive shells. Bang, ding, bang. The million-year-old armor-piercing explosive bomb was still blocked by him with a sledgehammer, but the explosion of the explosive bomb still blew it away, hitting the wall of the tomb directly smashing a piece of the wall, but it was of no use at all. This little bit of damage to it is almost like scratching an itch. Lin Yu felt powerless for the first time. Almost all attacks were blocked by Tang Rishan with a sledgehammer. If he gave up the god-killing gun in melee combat in the morning, he would be seeking death. The only way to kill him was to use his speed to fly a kite, but that sledgehammer was too powerful. Disgusted, 2 million-year-old soul skills cannot be used all the time. Every time a shot is fired, at least 1/3 of one's soul power is gone. Even if one's torso bones continue to regenerate, there is no time to replenish it. The only way now is to freeze. Hold his right hand holding the sledgehammer. Outside the cemetery, Lin Xiaotao, Lu Ning and Lin Moxu were breathing heavily. They felt like they had narrowly escaped death. Lu Ning felt herself calm down, and then looked at Tang Yanran. "Teacher Tang, Lin Yu hasn't come up yet." Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, let's wait a little longer, Lin Yu should come up. Several people waited around, but no Lin Yu came up. Wang Chao on the ground also woke up at this time. He felt that all the bones in his body were falling apart. It hurts. Teacher Tang, where is Lin Yu? Tang Yanren looked at her surroundings and the time. It had been half an hour, but Lin Yu hadn't come up yet. Tang Yanren thought to go down and take a look. You three keep Wang Chao safe here, I'll go down and take a look. After Tang Yanren finished speaking, she walked down the tomb again. When she reached the first floor, she heard the sound of gunshots and the sound of metal hitting, and then she quietly touched it. Lin Yu was going crazy. There had been no progress for more than half an hour. He had already begun to think about retreating and planned to come back stronger. With this guy's strength, even a few 9th-level soul saints could not deal with him. Just when he was about to fire an armor-piercing explosive shell to repel Tang Rishan and leave, a spider web fell from the sky and restrained Tang Rishan. Just when it was about to break free from the shackles of the spider web, an armor-piercing explosive shell directly hit Tang Rishan's chest. Bang! This million-year-old armor-piercing explosive bomb hit Tang Rishan firmly in the chest. When it was blown away, it also made a big hole in his chest. Tang Rishan got up from the ground and roared, "Ah, you are unforgivable, tornado." Tang Rishan held the hammer in his hand and began to spin in circles, directly forming a tornado. All the bones in the surrounding sarcophagi were sucked in by the tornado and crushed. Tang Yanren was also out of control and was sucked in by the tornado. Lin Yu's right hand appeared with a long whip wrapped around her, pulled her into his arms, and they lay on the ground. However, the suction force of the tornado was too great, and the two of them were sucked towards the tornado uncontrollably. A metal claw appeared on Lin Yu's left hand and was inserted into the marble on the ground. However, the marble on the ground also withstood the suction force and was lifted up and sucked in one after another. Am I going to return to my position today? No. Tang Yanren, summon the Imperial Knights. Bang! The piece of marble he grabbed still failed to hold on. The two of them flew away in an uncontrollable super tornado. Just when Lin Yu was about to close his eyes and wait for death, 1,000 undead knights suddenly appeared and blocked their way. Lin Yu, I felt the suction on my body loosen, and I immediately flashed past the second level. After Lin Yu put Tang Yanren down, he looked back and saw that Tang Yanren's 1,000 undead knights of the Imperial Knights had been crushed to pieces by Tang Rishan. However, the big whirlwind slowed down obviously. He knew that the skill was over, so it was impossible for Tang Rishan to continuously unleash his heaven-defying skills. Lin Yu took out the god-killing spear again, and the second golden soul ring rose from his body. He was waiting for the last chance. Just when Tang Rishan's sledgehammer storm stopped, an armor-piercing blasting bullet accurately hit the big hole in his chest. Bang! Boom! Tang Rishan's chest was blown to pieces. At this time, Tang Rishan made his last voice. Son, I spurn you. You may one day have the same fate as me. Lin Yu took out the soul ring collector and began to collect Tang Rishan's soul rings. After a moment, Tang Rishan's body disappeared and a red soul ring appeared. Ding! Ding! A piece of golden soul bone fell down, and the sledgehammer in his hand also remained. Lin Yu put away the two things, returned to Tang Yanren, held her in his arms and kissed her directly. If it hadn't been for Tang Yanren today, not to mention killing Tang Rishan, he might even have to kneel down. Ah, you bit my tongue again. Lin Yu once again used the healing technique on his tongue, and Tang Yanren said angrily, you deserve it. You forgot that there are 4 people outside. If we don't go out, there will be a crowd of people outside. Lin Yu thought about it and flashed to the underground hall with Tang Yanren in his arms, and then the two of them walked out. Lu Ning saw the 2 people appearing and immediately said excitedly, Teacher Tang, Lin Yu, you are out. Lin Yu took out the healing staff and gave Wang Chao a few healing spells. Wang Chao got up from the ground. Wang Chao asked curiously, how is Lin Yu's situation down there? Lin Yu said with a smile, that's it. I'll show you something. After Lin Yu finished speaking, a second soul ring lit up on his body. Tang Yanren and Lin Xiaotao immediately turned their heads away from Lin Yu. After waiting for a burst of green light, they turned around and saw Lin Moxu and Lu Ning and Wang Chao all looked dull. Lin Yu snapped his fingers, and all 3 of them recovered. Then he looked at Lin Xiaotao. Squad leader, take out the 2 soul rings. Lin Xiaotao took out 2 purple soul rings. After Lin Yu took them, he said to the 4 of them, "What we gained today is a 4,000-year-old control soul ring and a 5,000-year-old ice group control soul ring." Then Lin Yu took out a soul ring and bowed to Lin Moxu. "Is Miss Lin interested in this 5,000-year-old ice group controlling soul ring?" Lin Moxu must be interested. Although her family is rich, the 3rd soul ring with such a limit of life is hard to come by. This is what 5 people experienced together today. It is impossible for her to just take it for free. Then she said, "Make an offer. I want it." Although this spider soul ring is also a control type, it is very unpopular and not worth much. "I will give this soul ring to Teacher Tang. This frost skull soul ring should cost 50 million. You can give it to the 4 of us each. 10 million people. What do you think?" Several people nodded, and Lin Moxu was also very satisfied. She could buy a top-quality 3rd soul ring for 40 million. It was a profit no matter what. Lin Moxu took out 40 million on the spot, and each of the 4 of them divided 10 million. Lin Yu handed the soul ring to Lin Moxu, threw the spider soul ring to Tang Yanran, and then the 6 of them walked back. Back near the bus, almost all the teams had returned. Everyone boarded the bus. The school leader checked the number of people and made sure there were no problems before letting the vehicle go back. When he turned around, Lin Yu was surrounded by fat man Yang Dabao. Yang Dabao also showed him a soul ring, a single body flame soul skill soul ring that lasted for more than 400 years. "You can do it, fatty. You've got hundreds of thousands again." Yang Dabao smiled and said, "Good luck. I met a few skeleton mages, Shu Dabao, and I divided one for each of them." Along the way, everyone was chattering, telling what happened today and various gains. After returning to school, the school leader asked them to go home and have a good rest. After all, this was the last experience for the school, and the next step was to prepare for the college entrance examination. Lin Yu rode a small electric donkey and carried Lin Xiaotao back. Lin Xiaotao lay on his back and said, "Lin Yu, are you going to my house tomorrow?" Lin Yu said casually, "I'm quite tired today. I probably won't be able to get up tomorrow morning. I won't have to go to your house until tomorrow afternoon." "Well, then you can figure it out. I guess I'll have to sleep tomorrow morning too." After sending Lin Xiaotao home, she returned to her home. At this time, Chen Wenwen came home from school, and Chen Jing had already prepared dinner. "Xiao Yu is back, wash your hands and eat." Lin Yu washed his hands, and the 3 of them sat together to eat. Chen Jing asked curiously, "Xiao Yu, how about Crow Ridge?" Lin Yu stopped after taking a mouthful of food and said, "Most of the people in the school have practiced outside Crow Ridge. Our team is considered the strongest team in the school. We arranged an underground tomb inside and met a 4,000-year-old death spider. And a 5,000-year-old skeleton mage. Of course I will still be a healing soul master." "Oh, then your team is pretty awesome." After dinner, Lin Yu took a shower and went back to his room to sleep. He was indeed tired today. If Tang Yanran hadn't appeared today, he would have had no chance of winning against the drought demon named Tang Rishan. This drought demon is obviously only 100,000 years old, but it is ridiculously strong. Even the mutated 200,000-year-old ice skeleton king will be crushed into a pile of bone powder if faced directly with this drought demon. To be precise, there will be no residue left. Chen Jing came out of the shower and saw that Lin Yu had already fallen asleep. She couldn't sleep at this point. She was used to staying with Lin Yu every night. She simply lay next to Lin Yu and scrolled with her phone. Lin Yu, who was sleeping on the bed, turned over at this time, held Chen Jing in his arms and continued to sleep. Lin Yu slept soundly that night. When he woke up again, he realized that he had slept with Chen Jing in his arms all night. No wonder he smelled a good fragrance last night. Lin Yu got up quietly, covered Chen Jing with a thin blanket, and then went to the bathroom to clean up and wash up. Chen Jing on the bed opened her eyes, and then continued to sleep. Lin Yu used a rice cooker to cook a pot of porridge, and then returned to the life space. The pond was dug, and there was a fruit forest and vegetable patch. Now the only thing missing was the water in the pond, and finally there was the matter of building a house. Use medicinal herbs to make all things grow. The previous batch has been 10,000 years old, and the last batch will reach the 10,000-year level in a while. These are relatively large. When the time comes, give one to the original body's best friend Yang Dabao, and then give many more. It's a big one, so he can definitely go to the capital college. It's also good to have a horse to use. Back in the room, Chen Jing was still sleeping, and Lin Yu took out the 3 things that Tang Rishan had dropped. Han Bao's right arm bone, age, 100,000 years, soul skill, charged blow, tornado. Han Bao's soul ring, age, 100,000 years, soul skills, violent wind and gravity blow. Earth-shaking hammer, an artifact made by a hammer god from another world using his own martial soul and various top rare metals. It comes with its own soul skills, crushing cauldron and hammer of punishment. The earth-shaking hammer can replace hammer-type martial arts to perform soul skills. Use the earth-shaking hammer to perform strike-type soul skills, and the effect is doubled. Okay, for Tang Rishan to be so powerful, this hammer really contributed, and the fact that the earth-shaking hammer comes with 2 soul skills is also very disadvantageous. Breaking the cauldron. Concentrate all your energy into a hammer, and kneel down if the opponent doesn't. Hammer of punishment. Force a single target to be stunned for 6 seconds, which is simply a magical skill. Although I won't use it myself, I'll keep it for now. Maybe I'll use it one day. After putting away the 3 things, Lin Yu went to the kitchen and started preparing food. Soon after, Chen Jing got up and went to the bathroom. By the time she finished washing, Lin Yu had already prepared breakfast, and the 2 of them sat down to eat. Auntie, do you know there is a clean river outside Jinling City? Xiao Yu, do you want to pour river water into the pond in space? Yes, I do have this idea. The river water in the city is too dirty. I want to drink some clear river water. Chen Jing thought for a while and said, if you want clean river water, the closest ones are the Baishan side of the West Gate, or the upper reaches of the Qinhuai River at the North Gate. Baishan is closer to Jinling City and the level of monsters is relatively low. The upper reaches of the Qinhuai River is far away from the city. The level of the monsters over there is relatively high. Xiao Yu, you should be careful when going to those places. I know, Auntie. After breakfast, Lin Yu went out to the timber market, intending to buy some wood. Timber was also relatively expensive. After all, it was not safe to go out of the city to log wood. Lin Yu was not in a hurry to sell wood. Instead, he saw the timber factory, which actually had finished wooden pavilions and simple wooden pavilions. Wooden house. Boss, do you have finished wooden houses here? Whatever the customer wants, we can customize it in any shape. The customer may wish to follow me to the office to have a look. Lin Yu then came to the boss's office. A young lady opened the computer folder and selected pictures for Lin Yu. Lin Yu also looked at them one by one. In this 2-story villa building, if you walk upstairs, will there be noise downstairs? No, all our stairs and floors adopt a double-layer design, and the middle is filled with sound insulation cotton, just like walking on a normal wooden floor. How long does it take to complete a set of 100 square meters? The main body of the house and the interior decoration will take about a month at the fastest. And sir, what materials do you plan to use to make it? After all, we do business and we still have to negotiate the price. The price of good wood is very different from ordinary wood, and our master the processing technology is all mortise and tenon structure. Lin Yu interrupted the young lady's chatter and said directly, the best wood, the best craftsmanship, complete decoration, I want the kind that I can move in with my bags. The little sister was happy, because Lin Yu's face was full of money. She had already started sharpening her knife, and then picked up the calculator and started adding various materials. The young lady's eyes turned into slits as she smiled. Guests, the total number is about 135.2 million, you can just give us 135,000. No, I'll give you a deposit of 50 million, and you can make me a 10-meter-long antiseptic wooden bridge and a pavilion of about 9 square meters. The remaining 100 million will be paid when you pick up the goods. The young lady was happy. Okay, sir, please leave a phone number. If the house is ready in advance, we can notify you in advance. After leaving the lumber factory, Lin Yu went to a place that sold flowers and bought hundreds of better-looking flower pots at once, almost buying out the stocks of several flower shops. When he returned home, it was already noon, and Chen Jing was already making lunch. Soon after, the 3 of them sat down to eat together. Chen Wenwen glanced at Chen Jing, and then said, "Mom. My classmate made an appointment with me to go shopping together in the afternoon." "Oh, don't come back too late from playing." Lin Yu on the side naturally knew what Chen Wenwen wanted. Shopping would definitely cost money, so she couldn't just go shopping. Lin Yu then took out a stack of money and put it on the table, looking at Chen Wenwen opposite. Wenwen wants to take some for herself. Chen Wenwen was happy. "Thank you, brother. One piece is enough." Lin Yu took out 2 and handed them to Chen Wenwen, and passed the rest to Chen Jing. Chen Jing just collected the stack of money. After lunch, Chen Wenwen changed into a set of clothes and went out with her mobile phone. After Chen Jing washed the dishes, she lay on the bed in Lin Yu's room. Lin Yu also lay down next to her and took out his mobile phone to show her the results. Picture. Chen Jinghua pulled her cell phone and looked at the house inside and out. "Xiao Yu, do you want to directly customize a house like this?" "Yes, I originally planned to buy wood and build it myself. When I got there, I found that they have a custom-made house service. This is much easier than doing it myself. Let the professional people do the professional things." "That's right. This is indeed much more convenient." Not long after, Lin Yu heard Chen Jing's even breathing, and he quietly thought about the world. This world should not be as simple as it seems. He had already encountered 2 monsters that were more than 100,000 years old in the low-level area. This feeling just like when playing a game, I met the world boss in Novice Village. There are also 9th-level soul saints and 10th-level monsters in this world, which are much more than he imagined. What are those above the 9th level? Aren't there demigods or false gods? After thinking for a while, he stopped thinking about the problem and closed his eyes for a while. When he woke up again, it was almost 3 o'clock. He went to the bathroom to wash up, then changed into a set of clothes, took the battery and went out. When they arrived downstairs at Lin Xiaotao's house, they saw Yi Susan wearing home clothes and carrying a garbage bag downstairs. Lin Yu took the garbage bag from her hand and sent it to the trash can. Yi Susan was waiting for him to go upstairs together. Back at Lin Xiaotao's home, Lin Xiaotao walked out of the room and took Lin Yu's arm to her room. Lin Yu felt that it was quite boring to stare at Lin Xiaotao all the time, so he asked, "Taozi, why don't we go out for a walk together?" Lin Xiaotao nodded. "Yeah. That's okay. Then where should we go?" "It's hot today. Why don't you call Auntie? Let's go to the mall and buy some seasonal clothes, and let's eat out together in the evening." When Lin Xiaotao heard that she was called her mother, she was a little unhappy. "Do you have to call me my mother?" "Well, it has not been easy for Auntie to take care of you these years. We are now better off. Let's take Auntie to buy 2 sets of decent clothes. I just saw that the home clothes on her body have been washed and turned white. In your impression, your mother, have you not changed your clothes in many years?" Lin Xiaotao nodded. "Okay, let me change my clothes and then we go out together." Lin Xiaotao was about to change clothes, and Lin Yu exited his room by himself and came to the opposite room. Yi Susan was lying on the bed playing with her mobile phone, and she could see her fat under her nightgown. When Yi Susan saw Lin Yu come in, she sat up and looked at him curiously. Lin Yu said with a smile, "Taozi and I suggested going out for a walk and taking you to the mall with us." Yi Susan said in disbelief, "Taozi is willing to take me with you. I told you to take you to buy some sets of clothes." She agreed. "What about changing clothes again?" After Lin Yu finished speaking, he also exited Yi Susan's room. Yi Susan also found a dress in the closet and put it on. She was much faster than Lin Xiaotao. By the time Lin Xiaotao came out of the room, she had even combed her hair. The mother and daughter got ready, and then the 3 of them set off. The 3 of them also set off by bus. It was almost 4 o'clock when they arrived at the shopping mall in the wealthy area. Fortunately, Lin Yu had 2 shopping experiences. He took them to the women's clothing store last time and asked the young lady to pick out 2 sets of seasonal clothes for them to try on. Yi Susan put on a new set of clothes and walked around in front of Lin Yu. "Lin Yu, what do you think of my clothes?" "Very nice. Hee. I think it's okay, but the price is a bit expensive." "As long as you like it." At this time, Lin Xiaotao also changed into a set of clothes and came out to show Lin Yu. Lin Yu thought that Lin Xiaotao should first choose a better set of underwear. Yi Susan and Lin Xiaotao each bought 2 sets of seasonal casual sportswear, and then went to buy home clothes and pajamas, shoes and underwear. It was dark after buying these items, and the 3 of them had a simple meal in a shopping mall restaurant. The 2 of them were very happy that Lin Yu could accompany them for a walk in the afternoon. After dinner, the 3 of them returned to the downstairs of Taozi's house. Lin Yu did not accompany them upstairs. He went directly home on a small electric donkey. After Lin Yu returned home, he saw Chen Jing lying on his bed playing with her mobile phone. He took a bath first, then came to lie down next to Chen Jing. The 2 chatted for a few words, and Chen Jing went back to the room opposite. Lin Yu also began to fall asleep after completing his daily tasks. Early the next morning, Lin Yu got up as normal. After cooking some porridge with a rice cooker, he went out, came to the Adventurer Association, bought a ticket and teleported to the North Gate, and then start heading out of town. After leaving the city, seeing no one on the road, Lin Yu took out his motorcycle and rode north. 2 hours later, he saw a wide river bend. He put away the motorcycle and a meow knife appeared in his hand. Walked to the gravel beach by the river. The teacher also said in class that monsters in the water are more difficult to deal with than those on land. In fact, people cannot exert 20 to 30% of their normal strength in the water. When he came to the shallows and took a look at the river water, it was quite clear. Occasionally, he could see small fish and shrimp swimming by. After Lin Yu confirmed that there was no problem with the river water, he directly inserted his left hand with the ring of life into the river water and then still sucked the water. A piece of river water flesh is also visible falling. While he was carefully observing his surroundings, he felt a huge creature swimming over under the water. He decisively stopped and left the water because it was a 20,000-year-old crocodile gar, and he didn't want to provoke that crocodile gar. It's so hard, but mainly I can't eat it. In his previous life, this thing would have been an invasive species, but it wouldn't work in this world full of monsters. Then he moved to another place to absorb water. After the pond was filled with water, Lin Yu left the river. He did not choose to go back directly. Instead, he planned to go to the lemur forest last time, and then go back through the west gate. He then took out a paper map. The mobile phone outside the city there was no signal, and he even wondered if the satellite in the sky had also been shattered by the monster. After finding a good route, he put away his motorcycle and started to set off in a flash. Although the attached sole bone flew faster, it was too arrogant. Besides, he was not in a hurry, so he just strolled slowly. Maybe there would be unexpected gains, indefinite. After climbing over a mountain, there was no harvest, but he saw a nest of native bees. Lin Yu was thinking that he would take it back to the bees and put it into the living space for breeding. Crossing a plain again, he still gained nothing. As for the herbivorous animals running in front of him, he simply ignored them. Then a wild wolf ran in front of him. As a person who can kill monsters that are 100,000 years old, it would be a bit pricey to fight monsters that are thousands of years old. Mainly because I heard that wolf meat is not delicious. He stopped when he climbed over a hill again. When he came down, he smelled a smell of blood. He thought about it and walked in the direction of the blood smell. Soon after, he saw 4 corpses. Lin Yu walked over and was about to lick the bag, and found that all their storage items had been taken away. This was man-made. Just when she was about to leave, she stopped again. He found that one of the women had helped him, Flower Butterfly. After thinking about it, Lin Yu decided to dig a hole and bury them. It would not be a waste of time, and it would be better than a wild beast eating them. He dug 4 holes and put them in respectively. Then he took a shovel and shoveled the soil and began to bury them. He buried the 3 men first. Just when he was about to bury the flowers and butterflies, he seemed to see her hands move slightly. Illusion. After all, Wadi's chest collapsed a large amount. It was obviously hit by gravity. It was impossible to survive under normal circumstances. Lin Yu thought about it and took out the life scepter and released it on Wadi's body. Hair therapy. Thick blood slipped out directly from Wadi's mouth. Was the blood congestion in the lungs discharged? Lin Yu fired 2 more treatments, and Wadi opened his eyes. Oh, sister, you are really lucky. You can still survive like this. The butterfly opened its mouth but did not make a sound. Lin Yu looked at the surrounding environment, squatted down, picked up the butterfly, and appeared directly in the life space. Lin Yu took out a bed he bought before, placed the flower butterfly on it, and unleashed several healing spells on her again. Thank you, little brother. Don't be too quick to thank me. Most of the bones in your body are broken. If these bones cannot be reset, you will still die. Brother, just watch and do it. A pair of scissors appeared in Lin Yu's hand, and he cut off all the clothes on Hua Dai's body, leaving nothing behind. Then he knocked Hua Dai unconscious, and a scalpel appeared in his hand. He directly cut open her chest and put his hand in. A large piece of her chest collapsed. He had to manually restore her chest and restore the broken ribs one by one. 2 hours later, Wadi woke up again. Her collapsed chest had recovered, and she had regained the ability to stay up, but she could not move her limbs. She looked around and found Lin Yu sleeping on a recliner nearby. This little brother looks pretty good when sleeping. Su Muyu was right at the beginning. This guy is unfathomable. Lin Yu slept until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. When he woke up, he found that the flowers and butterflies had been staring at him. It's not as uncomfortable as it was in the morning. Yeah, I just can't move my limbs. It's quite uncomfortable. I want to pee, but lying on the bed doesn't seem appropriate either. Just shush. A living person can choke to death by urinating. Besides, this mattress is covered with your blood, so I don't intend to take it anymore. Lin Yu washed his hands, first connected the arm bones of Wadi's 2 arms, then used the healing technique again, and then his legs. Okay, the bones are all connected and you can get up. No, the hip bone still hurts badly. Okay, Lin Yu touched it and found that it was indeed disconnected. He then reset her and released the healing technique again. You are actually the legendary white tiger. I heard that white tiger Kefu. Wadi said angrily. How do I know? I don't have a man. How can I know if I'm a pretty girl or not? Do you have any clothes? Lin Yu directly took out a set of his own clothes for her, and at the same time took out a new towel and a basin of water. Wash the blood off your body. Wadi took the towel handed over by Lin Yu, dipped it in water and wiped it carefully on her body. Little brother, I still don't know your name. My sister's name is Zhao Qingdi, and Wadi is my nickname. Don't say your name is Yu Lin. Lin Yu. Okay, your nickname is really convenient. Zhao Qingdi found that there was no wound on her body, and she sighed in her heart at the magic of Lin Yu's healing skills. Lin Yu, what are you doing there today? I came from the north gate and was going to dig some glow in the dark grass in the lemur forest and plant it here. When I passed by here, I saw the bodies of the 4 of you. What about the little sister who was wearing leather clothes with you last time? She is the eldest lady. Last time she just asked us to help her hunt a monster beast, and then she went back to the capital. Zhao Qingdi wiped off the blood on her body and put on Lin Yu's clothes. The shoes were still her own. Lin Yu, please do me a favor. Send me to Jinling City subway station. I can't stay in Jinling City any longer. What? The person who attacked you is an official? Wadi shook her head. Not from the government, but from the city lord's palace. Lin Yu asked curiously. I don't understand a bit. What's the difference between the city lord's mansion and the Jinling City government? Zhao Qingdi immediately gave Lin Yu some popular science. The power of Jinling City is divided into 3 parts, the City Lord's Palace, the Jinling Government, and the Holy Sea Branch. As the name suggests, the government is the real management department of the city. There is nothing to say about this. The Holy Sea Branch, the palace usually doesn't care about anything and enjoys local tax sharing, but once the monsters are in trouble, they will take action to solve the problem. The City Lord's mansion belongs to the nobles under the Daxia royal family and does not participate in the daily management of Jinling City, but enjoys a share of the city's tax revenue. Because most of the nobles are hereditary, the City Lord's mansion has accumulated huge wealth and naturally raised many masters. Quote, he had no way of understanding these things because he had never been exposed to these things. He asked out of curiosity, what about the Adventurers Association? Which force does it belong to? Neither party. The Adventurers Association is a non-governmental organization and a completely neutral organization. Not long after, Lin Yu appeared outside alone in a black hooded outfit. He threw Wadi's scraps of clothes and the towel she had just used into the hole he had dug for her before. After filling the hole, he used the external soul bones, fly directly to the evil demon forest. It was the same lemur camp as last time. Some little lemurace appeared in the camp again. He ignored the scattered little lemurace outside and got into the cave and started digging for glow in the dark grass. This time, he dug several large and small glow in the dark grasses. Hundreds of plants. Before leaving the cave, the mattress was stained with the butterfly's blood and urine. He took out a fire bomb from the god-killing gun and burned it all. He flew back to the main road and rode a motorcycle into the city. Then he teleported to the Adventurers Association and bought 2 sets of women's black gluttonous beast cloaks. After leaving the Adventurers Association, he left on a small electric donkey. Not long after leaving the adventurer, Lin Yu appeared in a restaurant private room with Zhao Qingdi, who was dressed in black leather. Lin Yu handed Zhao Qingdi a mobile phone. I just took a look and there are no underground trains to the capital at night. Zhao Qingdi glanced at Lin Yu opposite. I didn't say I was going to the capital. While waiting for the food to be served, Lin Yu glanced at Zhao Qingdi opposite with his golden eyes. Name: Zhao Qingdi. Age: 35. Martial spirit: bow and arrow. Soul power: 57. Soul ring: yellow, yellow, purple, black. Soul skills: aim shot, viper sting, concussive shot, armor-piercing shot, multiple shot. Born as an orphan, she had suffered enough from the hardships of life since she was a child, and she also saw the dangers of people's hearts. When she was 10 years old, she killed a scavenger who tried to invade her. From that moment on, she no longer trusted anyone. Beneath the enthusiastic and unrestrained appearance, there is actually a closed heart. Close tortoise shell bracket. Lin Yu looked at Zhao Qingdi opposite and said, "Stay with me for 2 days and I will improve your strength. Then go to the capital to help me do something." Zhao Qingdi rolled her eyes at him. "If you save my life will be yours from now on." Lin Yu said with a smile, "Isn't this a matter of course? I'm just asking you to do something for me, I'm not asking you to commit yourself to me." Zhao Qingdi was immediately happy. "It's okay to promise with your own body. Let's finish the matter after dinner." At this moment, the restaurant waiter brought them the food they ordered. After the waiter went out, the two took off their masks and started eating. After dinner, the two left the restaurant, and soon Lin Yu returned home alone on a small electric donkey. Lin Yu first went to take a bath, put on pajamas, and then sat next to Chen Jing. Chen Jing turned to look at Lin Yu. "Xiao Yu is out of town today." "Well, I went to the upper reaches of the Qinhuai River in the morning and filled the pond in the space with water. In the afternoon, I went to the lemur forest to dig some glow in the dark grass. Oh, I look forward to the day when the house there is built." "Yeah, it will be soon." Soon Chen Jing went back to her room and closed the door of Lin Yu's room. After Lin Yu turned off the light and returned to the life space, she saw Zhao Qingdi lying on the recliner and looking at the luminous grass beside her in a daze. When Zhao Qingdi saw Lin Yu coming in, she smiled and said, "Are you planning to ask my sister to commit herself to you?" "My sister is ready." "Come on, I'm not interested in that at the moment. Besides, there are many people who want to commit themselves to me. I'm here to talk business with you." All ears. An hour later, Lin Yu returned to the room and started to sleep. Early the next morning, he gave Zhao Qingdi some toiletries and food, and then went back outside to wash up and have breakfast. After returning to school, in the first class, Tang Yanren talked about the upcoming college entrance examination and some school admission standards. Soul power level, soul skill proficiency, and combat skills are all admission standards for colleges and universities. After class, Lin Yu followed Tang Yanren back to the office, soaked her clothes in the pool, and sat across from her. Tang Yanren glanced at Lin Yu opposite, and then said, "I have thought about countless possibilities, but I never thought that you would be an extremely rare twin martial soul." Lin Yu smiled and replied, "If I didn't have this strength, I wouldn't have dared to face the drought demon that day. I almost knelt down that day." "That's not the case, you can still run away alone." Lin Yu briefly discussed the soul ring and soul bone skills that Lin Yu gave to Tang Yanren. Tang Yanren was not interested, mainly because she couldn't use it, so she gave Lin Yu the Death Spider's soul ring. After lunch, Lin Yu left the school and found a deserted place. He saw Zhao Qingdi sitting cross-legged there practicing kung fu. Zhao Qingdi also felt Lin Yu coming in and opened his eyes. Lin Yu took out 4 soul rings and placed them on the table. The 2 black ones are the 50,000-year-old flame bat and thunder spider soul rings, and the 2 red ones are the 130,000-year-old swamp lizard king soul ring, and you can choose one of the swamp fly king souls that is 140,000 years old as your 6th soul ring. Zhao Qingdi glanced at the 4 soul rings, and then at Lin Yu across from him. By cooperating with you, you just want me to keep owing you favors. Lin Yu smiled and said, your life is mine, do you still care about the favor you owe me? Zhao Qingdi said directly, then I should use whatever soul ring you think I should use. Lin Yu handed the 50,000-year-old flame bat soul ring to Zhao Qingdi. After Zhao Qingdi took it, he rolled his eyes at him. You took out the red soul ring just to show me. Since you took it, if you come out, there will naturally be a way for me to absorb it. Lin Yu knocked on Lin Xiaotao's door. Yi Susan opened the door. Seeing Lin Yu soaked with sweat, she opened the door and let him in. Lin Yu ran directly to the bathroom to take a shower. The reason why Lin Yu didn't go home was because he didn't want his aunt to know about Hua Butterfly, so he went to Lin Xiaotao's house to take a bath. Dong dong dong. Yi Susan took the clothes that Lin Yu changed into for bathing last time and placed them on the bench at the door of the bathroom. She knocked on the door and said, Lin Yu, the clothes you changed into last time were placed on the bench at the door. Okay, thank you Aunt Yi. Yesterday, I gave Zhao Qingdi a 10,000-year level golden ginseng. Her martial soul evolved from an ordinary bow and arrow to a sun-chasing bow. This afternoon, I helped her absorb the soul ring of the Swamp Lizard King. She also gained the ability to petrify, shooting and protect. Body stone skin soul skill. A few minutes later, Lin Yu opened the bathroom door and took the clean clothes in. When he got dressed and came out of the bathroom, Yi Susan sat in the living room and poured him a cup of tea. Lin Yu, why did you finish school so early this afternoon? Aunt Yi, I usually don't attend afternoon classes. The actual training in school doesn't mean much to me. Later, Lin Yu and Yi Susan talked about the problem of houses in the capital. He planned to let Zhao Qingdi go to the capital first to buy a house for himself, and he might as well buy one for Daozi and her family. Lin Yu, you are serious. We don't have any requirements for where to live. Daozi will live in the dormitory when the time comes, and I can have a place to stay. Okay, then I'll let someone else arrange it. After staying at Daozi's house for a while, Lin Yu said goodbye and left. Yi Susan washed the clothes he changed and dried them on the balcony of his room. Not long after leaving Daozi's house, Lin Yu went to the subway station and bought an underground train ticket to Beijing the next morning. Then he returned to the life space and took out a storage bag and handed it to Wadi. Here are the subway tickets to Beijing tomorrow, as well as most of my family assets. In addition to the house agreed upon last night, you can buy me a 3-bedroom house. Zhao Qingdi took the storage bag and glanced at it, then looked at Lin Yu. I have never seen so much money. Are you afraid that I will take it and run away? Lin Yu said with a smile, it's okay if you run away. When I meet you again, I will send you back to Jinling City and bury you next to your 3 teammates. Zhao Qingdi looked at the smiling boy in front of her. She knew that this boy was not joking. If she dared to do that, he would definitely bury her in the soil again. Zhao Qingdi took out an apple from her storage bag, ate it, and then said, is that 3-bedroom house prepared for me? What are you thinking about? Take care of my affairs. If there is enough money left to buy a villa, I won't care. That's fine. You stay here for one night and I will take you to the underground station tomorrow morning. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he went to release the growth of all things to those plants, and then left the space and rode directly home. The next morning, Lin Yu sent a message to Tang Yanren, saying that he had something to do in the morning and could not make it through the first period. After sending Chen Wenwen to school, he diverted to the underground train station. Lin Yu sent Zhao Qingdi to the entrance of the subway station, and then said, okay. Be careful next time. Even if you are accidentally killed, at least tell me who killed you. Zhao Qingdi smiled and said, what? If I die, you still want to avenge me? Lin Yu shook his head. No. I just want to get back my losses, and I have a reason to convince myself to kill the opponent. I am still a principled person. Zhao Qingdi smiled, then walked up and hugged this little man who was only half his age tightly into his arms. Okay, I'm leaving first. See you in the capital. After Zhao Qingdi finished speaking, he let go of Lin Yu, waved to him, and walked directly into the subway gate. Watching the flowers and butterflies walk into the waiting hall, Lin Yu rode on the electric donkey and continued back to school. At this time, the first theory class had ended, and Lin Yu went directly to Tang Yanren's office. Tang Yanren raised her head and glanced at Lin Yu, who was sitting opposite her. Have you finished your work? Well, I met a dying adventurer outside the city the day before yesterday. Seeing that she had helped me before, I saved her life and just sent her to the train station. I think that adventurer must be a beautiful woman, otherwise you wouldn't be so kind as to save people casually, and this woman would most likely be attacked by other adventurers and dying in the wild. Okay, you were really smart. When I first went to adventurer, when I was fooled, she stood up and spoke for me. Lin Yu told Tang Yanren about his encounter with Wadi, without deliberately concealing it. Tang Yanren sighed. Okay. This man, who would have thought that sometimes a kind reminder could save his life at a critical moment? If the people from the city lord's mansion killed them, it was probably because they had very precious things on them. Something, but in the past few years in Jinling City, I have not heard that the city lord has the habit of intercepting and killing adventurers. Quote. This is not simple. If what Hua Dai said is true, it means that the city lord's palace never leaves anyone alive when doing things. Personally, I have never had a good impression of the nobles. That's true. Lin Yu then got up and washed Tang Yanren's clothes from last night, dried them on the balcony, and then sat across from her again. Let me accompany you to buy some clothes this afternoon. Tang Yanren shook her head decisively. Come on. I don't like shopping. If you have time, just buy some for me. Don't tell me that you don't know the size of my clothes. That's okay. Then I'll buy it later. As for the school, when do you have to finish all the work? Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, next week, major colleges and universities will recruit internally. Normally, the college entrance examination will be on July 1st. After filling out the application form, file management, and other admission work, I will get the exam on July 15th, to leave Jinling City. Lin Yu estimated that the wooden house he had customized would be ready by then, and a few people would be able to go there together. After lunch, Lin Yu lay down next to Tang Yanren and took a nap. After thinking about it, he just put Tang Yanren in his arms. It's so hot. What kind of weather is this? You're still hugging me so tightly. It was indeed a bit hot. Lin Yu decisively replaced the soul bone on his head with the soul bone of the mutated Frost Skeleton King. He activated his soul power slightly and the temperature of the whole room dropped. Then he wrapped Tang Yanren in a blanket and hugged her again. She falls asleep wrapped in a blanket, which makes her feel more comfortable. At about 2 o'clock, Tang Yanren went to class. At this time, Lin Yu saw the message Zhao Qingdi sent to him, saying that she had arrived in the capital. After replying a message to Zhao Qingdi, he left school and went to the carpenter's shop to order 2 beehives. He planned to take back the swarm of bees he met on Sunday and put them in the space to pollinate fruits and vegetables. After returning home, Chen Jing had no sleep. The two returned to the space and began to transplant the luminous grass into flower pots. Before coming in, he had erased all traces of the flowers and butterflies living here. Lin Yu filled the flower pot with soil and placed it on the table. Chen Jing sat at the table and planted the luminous grasses into the flower pots. Xiao Yu, there are enough luminous grasses this time. I dug up all the luminous grasses of all sizes in the Lemur King's cave last time. I'll plant the extra ones directly in the space later. It's also best to dig a ditch from the pond to the orchard, so that it can be reached. Then there will be no need for artificial irrigation. Well, this is indeed a good method. More than 200 glow-in-the-dark grasses have been planted. Lin Yu decides the growth size of the glow-in-the-dark grass according to the size of the flower pot. The larger ones will be used for lighting in the living room. After the two returned home, Lin Yu went to take a shower first, and Chen Jing went to cook. After Chen Wenwen came home, the three of them started eating. After finishing dinner, Chen Jing lay on Lin Yu's boat and looked at Lin Yu, who was finishing his work. Xiao Yu, do you think we should build a chicken coop inside and raise some chickens to lay eggs or something? Lin Yu came directly to Chen Jing and lay down next to him. He looked at Chen Jing opposite and said, well, it's indeed a good idea. We just need to put up a fence outside the orchard, and then we can just let the chickens roam free in the orchard. Quote. Well, That's not bad. I'll go back to the other side and you should rest early. Lin Yu thought for a while, and just like at noon, he put on the sole bone of his head to cool down the room, then wrapped Chen Jing in a blanket so that the two of them would not be too embarrassed, and then hugged her to sleep. Chen Jing looked at the big boy opposite who had lived with her for several years. She had indeed grown up and could bring herself warmth and comfort, and then she fell asleep with her pillow on his arm. After a night of silence, Lin Yu woke up early the next morning and found that Chen Jing was still sleeping soundly. He quietly got up and took care of his personal hygiene. After cooking a pot of porridge, he came to the life space and began to release all things from the medicinal materials to grow. Those medicinal herbs are almost 10,000 years old. Let's pick 2 for Shu Dawei and Yang Dabao this weekend. After breakfast, when Lin Yu was driving Chen Wenwen to school, Chen Wenwen asked curiously, "Brother, did my mother sleep in your room last night?" "Yeah, indeed, my room is cooler, so my aunt sleeps in my room." Oh, after sending Chen Wenwen to school, she took Lin Xiaotao to number 1 middle school. Lin Xiaotao hugged Lin Yu and said, "Lin Yu, I heard Lu Ning said yesterday that Lin Moxu should absorb the 3rd soul ring. I have been practicing family skills for many years, and it is normal to have more than 30 levels of soul power. Besides, Lin Moxu wants to go to the Vatican Academy in Wuhun City. Naturally, the higher the strength, the better. We don't need to compare with her. You give yourself strength, just consolidate it and that's it." After returning to school, Lin Yu took a look at Lin Moxu and found that she had indeed absorbed the 3rd soul ring, and her soul power had reached level 38. This also meant that she had accumulated about 30 years of practicing the ice art over the years. Level soul power. Now think about it, when the martial soul was awakened, she and I were both innately full of soul power. If they hadn't tampered with the machine, I would have doubted my life if I saw her innate level 30. After the first class, Lin Yu came to Tang Yanren's office and asked out of curiosity, at that time, how much soul power did the children of those big families have to enroll in school? Tang Yanren thought for a while and said, "Most of them are around the 2nd level. A very few have reached the 3rd level. Why do you suddenly ask this question?" "Just asking out of curiosity. Today I saw that Lin Moxu is already in the late 3rd level. Will he be regarded as the proud son of heaven when he goes to the Holy See Academy? If you enter the Holy See Academy in the late 3rd level, you should be among the best among the freshmen. However, the Holy See Academy cares more about qualifications. They prefer those civilians who are innately full of soul power. After all, the children of these big families or nobles will be ahead of schedule. Cultivation and innate soul power have no meaning to them." At around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Yu left school and went to the carpenter's shop. 2 beehives had been completed. Then he customized 2 chicken coops and several hundred meters of wooden fences. After paying the deposit, Lin Yu left the city and went straight to the place where the wild bees were found that day. He collected the nest of wild bees in a beehive and put it into the life space. Soon the bees adapted to the environment here and began to fly among the fruit trees and vegetable fields. After confirming that there was no problem with the bees, he returned to the city and did not encounter any problems today. After returning home, Lin Yu found on the internet that there was a company that made integrated water tanks, water towers and integrated septic tanks. He called and inquired individually. They did have them in stock, but in other places, they were not responsible for door-to-door delivery, so he had to pick them up himself. After leaving the college the next afternoon, Lin Yu wanted to go straight to the shopping mall in a wealthy area to buy clothes for Tang Yanren. After thinking that he seemed to be too good at buying clothes, he came to Lin Xiaotao's door and knocked on the door. Dong dong dong. Creak. Yi Susan opened the door and saw Lin Yu outside the door. She smiled and stepped aside to let Lin Yu in. Lin Yu looked at Yi Susan, who was wearing a nightgown and a vacuum suit, and said with a smile, "Aunt Yi, I'll interrupt your lunch break. If this is where you are, I'd be very happy if you could come. I'll get you a glass of water. Farewell. If Aunt Yi has nothing to do, please go out with me for a walk." Yi Susan smiled and said, "That's okay. Wait for me to change my clothes." Yi Susan went back to the room to change clothes, but she didn't even close the door. "Are you so relieved about yourself?" After a while, Yi Susan changed into a light green dress and came out, and then went to the bathroom to briefly fix her hair. Okay, let's go. Then the two of them went out together. Naturally, they chose the bus to go to the wealthy area. Half an hour later, they arrived at the shopping mall in the wealthy area and started shopping. Yi Susan said with a wicked smile, Lin Yu, you are bringing me here to buy clothes for other women. You are making me happy for nothing. You are not afraid of my mischief. Lin Yu also smiled. I don't think you can. You should have seen Mr. Tang before. Okay, I didn't expect that you are not big, but you have a big heart. Teacher Tang is indeed a very beautiful woman. Aunt Yi, as long as this person has strength and heart, the world will be as big as he is. That's true. The two came out of one store, and Lin Yu took her hand to another store and bought several sets from the outside to the inside. Aunt Yi, I think this little dress would look good on you. Yi Susan leaned into his ear and whispered, who should I wear such clothes for? Should I wear them for you? Lin Yu nodded. It's not impossible. I'll give you a few sets. Maybe there will be a chance in the future. The two returned to Lin Xiaotao's house and parted ways downstairs. Yi Susan said with a smile, won't Lin Yu come up and sit down for a while? No, it's time for Taozi to get out of school. I have to go back too. I'm going to trouble Aunt Yi today. If you have any inconvenience, come here. I have a lot of time now. Since Lin Yu gave Lin Xiaotao a large amount of money, Yi Susan no longer has to go to work. Once low-level soul masters like them have children, they will give priority to working in the city and earn a small salary, is also better than going out of the city. It is too dangerous for them to go outside the city. Not everyone is as bad as Lin Yu. Lin Yu asked her to accompany him, and naturally he had to buy her a few sets of clothes. Generally speaking, Yi Susan was in a good mood when she went shopping with Lin Yu. The next morning, after the first class, Lin Yu came to Tang Yanren's office, took out all the clothes he bought for her yesterday, and put them on her bed. You bought all this for me. Of course, you can try it and see if it suits you. Okay, let's try again during nap time. After Tang Yanren finished speaking, she put away all the clothes and returned to the office outside. Lin Yu washed the clothes she had changed out of last night, and then sat in the room to meditate. After lunch, Tang Yanren changed into the pajamas that Lin Yu bought for her. She felt pretty good, and then she started to take a nap. Lin Yu put her in his arms and took a nap. The relationship between the two has been developing rapidly recently, and Tang Yanren no longer bites his tongue. Of course, some things should be settled. At about 2 o'clock, Tang Yanren changed into a new set of t-shirts and sweatpants prepared by Lin Yu for her. After looking in the mirror, they seemed to fit well. Tang Yanren looked at Lin Yu lying on the bed through the mirror. Are you still going out in the afternoon? I'm not going out today. Please help me call Yang Dabao and Shu Dewei over. I'm going to give each of them a 10,000-year level fairy grass. This way, maybe they can reach the second level. You are so generous. You can give away the fairy grass to anyone at will. Get up quickly. When they come later, they will see how well you sleep on my bed. Lin Yu sat up directly from the bed, got up and went to the bathroom to wash his face. At the same time, he soaked the clothes Tang Yanren changed at noon in the water pool. Then he closed the bedroom door and went to the office outside to sit down. Not long after Tang Yanren left, Yang Dabao and Shu Dewei came over, and Lin Yu took out 2 medicinal plants and placed them in front of them. Yang Dabao asked curiously, Brother, what is this? This is the 10,000-year-old Emperor Blood Grass and Dragon Blood Shou Yang Ginseng. Taking it can not only increase the soul power, but also change the cultivation qualifications. There is a certain probability that the martial soul will evolve. Hearing Lin Yu say this, both of them were excited. Shu Dewei immediately said, how to use this herb? It's very simple. Chew it and use your soul power to refine it. The two couldn't wait to eat it, and then sat cross-legged on the ground to refine the soul power. Lin Yu saw that it would take a while for them to refine the medicinal materials, so he took this time to wash Tang Yanren's clothes. By the time he finished drying the clothes, Tang Yanren had come back, but Yang Dabao and Shu Dewei seemed to have impurities discharged from their bodies, and the smell was not good, so Tang Yanren turned around and left. Half an hour later, when the two finished their work, Lin Yu kicked them out of the office. It was so stinky. You guys go home and take a shower first. We'll talk about it on Monday. The two of them also knew their situation, so they left the school immediately. A large fan appeared in Lin Yu's hand to exhaust the smell in the room. When the smell was almost gone, Lin Yu left the school and returned home. During dinner, Chen Jing asked casually, "Xiao Yu, do you have any plans for tomorrow?" "We don't have any plans. Auntie, why don't we go to Shanghai to buy the water tank and septic tank tomorrow?" Chen Wenwen, who was eating next to her, immediately raised her hand. "Demon City, I want to go too. I can take you there, but I have to get up early tomorrow morning." Chen Wenwen's head felt like pecking at rice. Yeah. I will definitely get up early." After dinner, the three of them went to wash up early. Chen Jing sat in his room for a while and then left. She slept with Lin Yu for one night on Tuesday night, and did not sleep for several days after that. Early the next morning, Lin Yu got up and went to the space, watered the flowers and plants, and then came out to wash up. In a hurry in the morning, Chen Jing did not make breakfast, but took some of what she had made before from the space. After the three of them had breakfast, they changed their clothes and started to set off. First, they took the bus to the subway station. Lin Yu bought 3 tickets to the Magic City, and then went to the waiting room to wait. "Brother, how long will it take for us to go to the Demon City? Isn't it available on the mobile phone?" "About 2 hours. "Oh." Soon after, a radio announcement was announced to passengers heading to Shanghai to start checking in and boarding the train. After checking in at the ticket gate, the three of them arrived at the waiting platform. Lin Yu looked around and saw that there were quite a few people going to the Magic City. The train arrived a moment later and everyone got on the train one after another. After the three got on the bus, they found their seats. The three of them sat in a row. Chen Wenwen sat in the window seat, Chen Jing sat in the middle, and Lin Yu sat in the aisle seat. Because Jinling is not the departure station, the train started to leave 2 minutes later. The time on the train was quite boring. Although there was a TV in the carriage, most people were playing with their mobile phones. Mobile phones in this world are similar to those in previous lives, but there is no mobile payment or online shopping. The mobile phone is just a communication tool. On the way to Modu, they stopped at 2 stations, the names of which Lin Yu had never heard of. At around 10:30 in the morning, the three of them got off at Modu station. "Xiao Yu, what should we do next?" "Auntie, if not, you and Wenwen go shopping first, and I'll pick up the goods first. I'll go find you after I finish picking up the items." Chen Jing shook her head. "Let's go there together." "That's okay too." The three of them got on the bus and went to buy water tanks and septic tanks. They also bought some water pipes and other fittings. Then they returned to the most prosperous part of the city. It was already past 12 o'clock. The three of them first found a restaurant and tasted the local specialties, which were not bad. After lunch, the weather was too hot, so Lin Yu took them to book a luxury suite. "Brother, what plans do we have for the afternoon?" Lin Yu, who was lying on the sofa, waved to Chen Wenwen. "You go back to your room and sleep for a while. The weather is too hot now. Let's go out around 4 o'clock. I heard that the night view here is very good." Chen Wenwen nodded. "Okay then. I'll go take a nap first." Chen Wenwen went back to her room to sleep. Chen Jing changed into a set of pajamas and walked out of the room. She came to sit next to Lin Yu. Lin Yu lay directly on the sofa and rested his head on Chen Jing's lap. Chen Jing touched her gently. "Touch his cheek." Lin Yu opened his eyes and glanced at Chen Jing. "Auntie, I plan to visit the Adventurers Association here. You should go and get some sleep first." Chen Jing nodded. "Yeah. That's okay too." Lin Yu immediately got up, went back to the room, put on a gluttonous animal skin suit, put on a hood and a mask, then left the hotel, followed the navigation on his phone, took the bus, and soon arrived at the Adventurers Association in the Magic City. The Adventurer Association of the Magic City looks much bigger than Jinling from the outside. Lin Yu walked in. In the Adventurer Hall, there were more adventurers coming and going than Jinling. It seems that this Magic City should be bigger than Jinling. Much bigger. Lin Yu's first glance was naturally at the huge commission screen in the Adventurer Hall. There were various commissions on the scrolling screen. The top commissions should all be connected to the internet. They were not much different from Jinling. The contents of local commissions were very different. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.